other gospel. Remember, there's only one gospel, and that gospel is that gospel is the one that's unchanged, undefiled. Father is the Word. So we'll have that discussion, because the heavens are not in the sky. The heavens are the ruling class, and the earth is the ruled. The earth are the ones who, in this modern time, are ruled by their tongue, by their alien. So I don't sup with people who do aliens. There's a reason I built a UFO, you know. So Father knocked it down and mocks me, but that's okay, right? Because I was mocking them, but you shouldn't mock people by their ignorance, right? So if they don't know, or they just don't know, they never seen it. That's ignoramus, right? Ignoramus is the same word as an idiot. So most people are idiots when it comes to the celestial firmament above our head. So thank you, Father, for that. Knowing that you're the Word, you're not a deity in the sky. You're not somewhere above. Doesn't mean above our head. Heavens aren't above our head. Earth isn't below our feet. Hell's not below our feet. So earth is the ruled. Right? People are ruled by it. They don't define. They literally don't define any words. They speak. So they're translators. And Father doesn't like that. He said, don't translate, don't add or take away from my word. So that's the beautiful thing about Father. He's not in the sky. You don't need to go to a building or a temple. Remember, he said that the body is a temple. Like, you got two of them right here on the top of your head. You know, the Most High at the top of your house. The body is the temple, but they don't get it. That's why I just come to sup with only those that are in the narrow way, those that love is agape, love these truths. Truth is aletheia. So if you look around, everything is a lie. Schooling, that the children aren't being taught. The television's a lie. Music, entertainment, it's all organized sports, all a scam. Everything's a scam. We all went through the scamdemic, remember? Stand on the X, go inside, flatten the curve. So anyways, just thought I'd come in here and share. You know, we're supposed to be charitable with the gospel, so we're not supposed to hide it. We're supposed to go out and treat everything the same. Most people are nice. The word nice means to be stupid, so most people are nice and stupid. So, oh, you're too pretty. Got the cuties being and keeping an eye on her. She went out and got some fresh air. Yeah, she got pips yesterday, huh? Our Juniper girl got fixed here at the ministry, so thank you for being able to. She was coming into heat so often. The neighbor's kitty kept coming over here and pesting her, so she just kept going into heat. Maybe he'll slow down a little bit now, huh? She's lovely. I'd want to be hanging out with her too, huh? Oh, she's such a good girl. She's purring. So, hi. What am I talking about? Well, it's a ministry, so it's not a religious channel. Religion is something that that's a perverted word that people don't use properly. Like, believe is a thought in your head. So we talk about all things in here. You know, the Word. Father's the Word. He's not in the sky. So that's what we're talking about. And then I was talking about my kitty, because she got fixed yesterday. She's been here since she was a little baby kitten. This Juniper, she's our channel kitty. Yeah, she's here with the kitty. She's been here since she was just a little baby kitten. Oh, but yesterday she finally went and got fixed. Oh, yeah, because she kept coming into heat. I didn't want to do that to her. because there's no other cats around, and even the yeah, she's a good girl. She's a good micer, so she'll be back to being glad to go back and micing, and we're out in the desert, so we don't have any mice problems out here, huh? No mice or no rats here, do we, pretty girl? She was good. She's the second one, so we got to pick her up a little early. She was a little messed up, huh, when Dad picked her up yesterday. Say, her name is Juniper, because we're out here in the desert, so that's my favorite tree, is the juniper. So my favorite flower is, look at this, I love this channel. Cannabis, I love flowers, so not like hippie, like. So. Anyways, my favorite flower goes about the dirt, so thank you, Father, for having good animals. I got my puppies over there, too. My puppy's hanging out, my dingo boy. My dingo. Look at the channel. Look at this. It says nobody's in here. There'll be 5 or 6 people in here. You're being good. So we got a big week coming up. We've been getting a lot done out here at the ministry. Just tons and tons of things that have to consistently be done when you live a lifestyle like I live off the grid. So nothing is settled. The chickens are going to keep laying eggs. The animals, everything needs. We all have our responsibilities, but I'm off the grid, so some things you can't let sit idle. So no, I don't. Jesus is Satan. There's no such thing as Jesus. That's a word that was never written in the Old or New Testament. It doesn't say the word love either. It says agape. You never study the word, do you? We have a religious person in here. Mother is your correction, members, like the aletheia, truth, knowledge, the aid of the tree, remember, and what happened then. So stop trying to tip. I got Jesus out here mowing my lawn. Jesus, he's your carpet Jesus, your Aladdin, your magic Jesus is Satan. Birth magically, Horcus Corpus, this magically, that's Catholicism. Crackers and grape juice, vampism, try to drain people. There's no J. That letter, you didn't remember, that's a yod. You never study the word, do you? Cosmos is an orderly arrangement. Holkadesh is the word. Father is the word, not some deity in the sky. Jesus was birthed in the middle of the winter on December 25th, right? In a major, that's Satan, Apollyon. Twin sister Artemis. So you do your rituals of the world. You speak like a dragon, like a forked tongue. Remember Leviathan in the garden? Remember that apple I was telling you about? Well, do not partake in unfruitful works of darkness, one bad apple. So, but no worries. They're cutting the apple trees too, remember? You got Fernando, edge, mow, and blow. So the 3 best friends your lawn ever had. So we're trying to kick out our people that are all immigrants in this country that have been mowing our lawns for us and picking all the food. A nation of immigrants trying to keep out the immigrants. Love is agape, and he said don't sup with vipers. So that's who I love. I love the word, not some deity, yods. Father's all of the words. No, we don't need to eat ass, for Jesus is Satan. Did you hear what I just said? You're making an ass of yourself in here now. What's your name? Delmar. Jesus is Satan. Mithra. Apollyon. Was your deity, well, that's the word, demonion, birthed in them. They used to pray to their ancestors for fortunes. They thought they could open up portals, communicate by offering burnt flesh of a man and eat his flesh on December 25th. So is your God born in a manger? Is your Jesus birthed on December 25th? Is that the Jesus you speak of? Forgiveness doesn't come out being rebuked by Father. We walk in repentance for a long process like baptism or salvation. Nobody's being saved. You can't be saved. No free will, no luck, no such thing as accepting Christ. No chance, no rapture, no Lucifer, no Jesus. That letter J didn't exist in the time when the Hamashiach, that's Hebrew for Messiah. Remember, he was out of Judea. Jew, that's a modern term. Remember, Leo in the celestial firmament, the king, like Revelation, they're one locked in the pit, that he has the keys to the pit. They put a crown of thorns upon his head and hung from a tree, not a cross. That's paganism. Sound like a pagan to me. So, was your Jesus birthed in the middle of the winter? Jesus is God, but I'm going to go. Okay, goodbye, viper. Don't come back. Don't let the door hit you. There's 7 things that you're supposed to do to be matured. You don't read the scriptures at all, do you? So you don't have the gospel. So can't share it here. So don't come back. Don't let the door. Lord is another term never written in the Old or New Testament. It means master, and your forked tongue is alien. You serve an alien Jesus. How about that? Told you, your carpet in the sky Jesus. You're a spacewalker. I don't know. You're Chewbacca Jesus. You're hairy Esau. Remember, he hated Esau and stole his inheritance. Okay, well, name is your name will be called out in the book of life. No, he said, have your loins girded in my service until I return. Believe is a verb, not a noun. You're an idiot. You don't have any idea what you're talking about. I don't think you've ever sat down and actually read any of it ever. You broker it out because your friends see you go and you call yourself what? Let me guess. This ain't magic. You're a Christian, right? That's Catholicism is the same thing. He said, calling a man father, pope, papa, teacher, that's prophet, reverend. I am Pastor Revelation, not Reverend. Revelation. Apocalypse, that's the name. So Shem, cosmos, the orderly arrangement of yods. We're in that scriptures right now. Living. Are you living testament of the Revelation? Remember John? Remember Yahuka and on? There were no J's. So, yeah, all right. We better not. Bye-bye, Viper. So come out of her, my people. I'm not here to be friends with the world. That's the problem with religious people. They think Father loves everybody, right? He only loves his bride. So, and that's a teeny tiny oligos bride. Most people enter by the wide gate and go to hell, because broad is the way that leads to the wide gate. He's got the keys to the pit, abyss, hell, knowledge. Hell is not below your feet. Hell is like you've been tied to a chain, huh? Blockchain. Knowledge. No knowledge is hell, not below your feet. Earth is the rule, not below your feet. Heaven's not above your head. The body's a temple. Remember, you got 2, use it. Right? Temples. So, look like somebody knocked somebody of these people upside the head. I go sit down on a stink church pew. Something stinks. That's not, he doesn't dwell in temples made by hands. Remember, he said that? Hands, temples, the most high doesn't dwell in temples made by, oh yeah, so you're not going to find him in a temple. That was all fulfilled. So thank you, Father, for that. That's the gospel. Come out of my people. So remember, be in the world, but be not of it. Do not partake in their unfruitful works of darkness. So Tammuz was a son of Satan, remember? A lion birthed in the middle of the winter. So who had sex with his mom when he died. So yeah, you're supposed to take care of yourself. You have to endure to the end. So no, Jesus doesn't love me. Jesus is Satan. You're an idiot. Get away from me. Delmar, you're an idiot. I've just been telling you all the time. There is no J in Hebrew. I have the scriptures right here. You're not going to find a J anywhere in the 12th century. Remember? Old Testament, New Testament, right? 13 books, 53, 80, right? 8, 22 were not canonized because they lack definition, which you lack. There's no J's. So get away from me. Go out of here. You said you were going to leave. I'll make you leave and put you in timeout because you're a child. This is an adult-only stream. Jesus is Satan, the sun god. Grow up. He said, don't add a single jot. And that's a period, not even a letter. That's a yod. And you're made up your own version. Stop. That's exactly why you're not welcome here. Kick rocks. Father doesn't love everybody. Most people are nice. That word means to be stupid, just like you. Okay, Delmar, nice and stupid, don't know any gospel, can't share anything. Jesus is Satan. I already told you, love is the word agape, okay? Not your phileo, like you like the wife's rack, like you like the rack on your truck. Get away from me. You're nuts. What's the difference between deer nuts and beer nuts? What comes in a bag, what comes under a buck? The man's nuts, and get him, grab him out of here. It's not a physical nuts. Whatever they call Noah nuts, and then it rained. You never read any scripture, so go away from me until you can be defined. Refine, remember? A refiner's fire. Father beats the people he loves, puts them through long suffering. You don't talk about anything. Oh, Jesus, look, Jesus is Satan, you idiot. I already told you. You don't even answer questions. Like, put your name at the top of the paper. It doesn't say name. It says Shem. There's no name. Like, there's no Jesus. There's no Lucifer. There's a word never ever written in the Old or New Testament, not even one single time. Who the hell is Lucifer? Hell's not below your feet, by the way. When the dead are raised from the ashes and the dust, huh? You think that's what hell is? You're an idiot. The final trump shofar, Father's the final trump, not some dude on social media. People popping shots, right? Like Caroline said, leaven. Remember, you mix leaven, sin with sweet Jesus, you get drunk. You're drunk. You're falling asleep at the wheel. So I rebuke you is not, you don't rebuke anybody. The word rebukes. In the name, it's Shem. Jesus, that didn't exist. See how stupid you sound? Remember, nice and means to be stupid. So get away from me. Why are you even in here still? You're not going to learn anything. You're just an ass. You've already shown you're to be an ass as somebody who can't learn. So I don't rebuke you in the name Jesus. That's stupidity is what that is. So that's blasphemy and a heresy, just like Jesus is a heresy. So birthed in the middle of the winter on December 25th, 100% the deity Satan. So get away from me. Apollyon is his name. Same deity. You're same as you. Deity is a demon, distributor of fortunes that used to pray to their ancestors. That demon was a compliment. You don't even know any words that come out of your face. Father is the word. Alien is foreign. So take your foreign dialect. That's the word tongues. No such thing as speaking in tongues. No free will, no luck, no Lucifer, no Jesus, no Lord, no Christ. None of these were ever written in the Old or New Testament. You are in opposition. That means the adversary, you are acting like a satanic. So either with Christ, which was never written in Scripture, that means anointed in oil. And he said to have, remember the eye single. Remember the eye is the lamp of the body. Remember the king of Revelation, the angelos. That's the word angel. Okay, you ever met an angel? You're looking at one. All right, that's the word messenger if you'll define anything. So whenever he visited John at the island of Patmos, gave him that revelation, pastor revelation, not your cracker stuck in a box at the pulpit. Something stinks. PU. These people in a church pew doing calisthenics, Catholicism, December 25th. Jesus up, down. I know I'm a veteran. They got you doing what is that the women do? Jazzercise or something like that. I mean, does that get your blood pumping there, Nimrod? Jesus is Nimrod. That's how educated you are. Let me guess, you're an American. 99% of the people that I ever come across that say the stupidity of, there's no J. So I'm not fighting over a letter. That's a yod. So see how ignorant you sound? Remember, ignorant's not an insult. So get away from me, idiot. Remember, idiot's not an insult. So grow up. Stop supping with vipers. That's all I'm doing here. You are being rebuked by the aletheia, which is truth. And the truth is undefiled, so you just don't like it. So don't shoot the messenger. Remember, that's the word angel. So angels don't come from the sky. And just take the word angel. You're not grown up enough to use the word angel. Just let's use the definition. It's called messenger. So stop it. You need to sound like a maxi pad or some kind of Tampax angels with wings or whatever Mad Max scenario you're on. End of the world. It's sorrows. We're not anywhere close to the end. So he said, look up, for your redemption draweth nigh. So he's be prepared, as the end could have come 1,000 years ago. Remember, it's been 2,600 since he made that covenant. Let vengeance be mine. So you're supposed to turn your cheek and endure to the end if you want to be saved. So he's already been bought. They are his purchased possession. Remember, his bride. The bride and the bridegroom at the wedding. If you're not excited about the wedding, it's because you're a religious idiot. Get away from me. You stink. Remember, church pew. He doesn't dwell in houses made by hands. So 2 or 3 gathered in my agape, not Jesus, not God, not Yeshua, not Yahweh, not. That sounds the stupidity of society right now. And that's okay. Remember, I'm not trying to turn, MAGA, greatest of all time, high priest of the Satan church, goats, stubborn like an ass or a mule or a goat into a sheep. It's not possible. It was already chosen. Prognosco, pre-divided, pre-selected, enslaved to their sin and pulled to the light. The divider of the light. That's who Father is. I'm the Horizo, he said. Hokodesh in flesh. The word became flesh. Spirit, ghost, became flesh. You don't know anything about the word, do you? So get away from me with your cracker Jesus. So it's not hate speech. Remember, no, I'm not hating you. It's the sin you commit. So remember, he said, don't add. The wages of sin is death. One sin of the Old Testament, add a jot, death, add a tittle, death, add a thought, death. See, nothing's changed. You just go by this other gospel that Paul, remember Saul who became Paul, like Jacob who was Israel, not some place in the desert. Israel was a family, not a country. And sooner people can figure that nonsense out, they won't fall for the Jews. There's no Jew. There's no such thing as Jew. Get that out of your vocabulary. You don't use that proper either. He was out of Judea, right? If you're going to use your little hook, line, and sinker hooked on phonics work for me, fish hook, J, whatever. There was no J at the time of Rome. So you don't ever study any scriptural records, biblical records. Bible means book. And if you're going to talk about history, that's only one side. The victor gets the spoils. It shows in your contribution to the comment section. So your comments are vain, worthless. So thanks for your, he tells us don't sup with people who can't produce fruit. So give man some fish, right? First day, give him a fishing pole and then tell him to get the flock out of Dodge. Get the hell out of here. You don't know what you're doing. So nope, not going to try to turn. He said, don't partake. Come out of her, right? Do not sup. Tables, it's written on tables. Sup, do not sup. Knock and I will come sup with you. So that's the word. Don't sup with vipers. It'll rub off on you. Remember your little worm? All right, whatever. So any comments on the gospel is always welcome in here, but don't put things in here that are unclean. So they'll be corrected. That's the word mother. So that's your family who you be with after you die. Father, mother, and your brothers and sisters in the narrow way. So probably not your dad. When it says honor thy father in the Old Testament, it's not your dad. When it says honor thy mother, that's not your mom. So if your father's a Jezebel, same thing with your mom. Vipers, depart from them. I don't care who it is. We're supposed to be equally yoked under this covenant. The Old Testament, where the physical act of adultery had to take place for you to be able to unyoke from somebody. So we had to go back into a public place and nail. Remember your wife to a tree? No, not your wife. You had to nail the bride contract. Bill of marriage is what it was called. You had to give her a bill of divorce, had two witnesses. Remember, declare it. This is all in the book of Deuteronomy. But you don't ever read any scriptures and you sound like a viper. So get away from me. Jesus is Satan. Sooner you can wake up to that, maybe you'll understand and stop putting people below you, because you be less people too, right? Be less. People think they sneeze had a demon, and demon is the word distributor of fortunes of lies. Remember, they prayed to their demons. That was a compliment, right? Because they thought they had a porthole opening up and some demon was entering them. That's how stupid people are, just like today. So people go around blessing people. Don't bless people and they sneeze. You should do some research before you open your face and say anything about anything, especially when it comes to scripture, because the first people he deals with are the people who twist his words. That Hebrew word is froward. It means to pervert. So don't pervert his word, and then you won't be corrected in here. Or share just the gospel. Stick to the words that you know. How about that? You don't need to know anything other than gospel. Father is Hokodash spirit. Through the water canal, he birthed the flesh vessel, the gospel, salvation. There was no salvation under the Old Testament. Redemption, remember? He divorced his bride under this new covenant. Remember, it's meek. Remember, he said, let vengeance be mine under this covenant. It's not eye for an eye. Have you forgotten all the Old Testament? He didn't abolish the law. He fulfilled it. People say that, they're lost. Don't leave people alone that don't, you're not going to turn anybody. Just show them to the narrow way. Most people are in the broad way, especially yourself. A man's enemy is to be the one of his own household. How about that? So, idolatry, self-will, serving lies and distributing fortunes to self. Latria, pornea is the Greek word. Idols, serving your eyes, serving things in the dirt, little statues, big, tall, service to self, self-will. You're like a self-stick shift. You're pulling your own stick or chain, whatever hub you're on, chain, hub. You're all tied to the blockchain there. So, in prison. So. It's all right. Remember, people are vipers, so leave them alone. Don't. You don't want to get bit. Remember, you know I was a snake before you let me in. Then he let Joe Biden. Two cheeks to the same hole, two wings to the same dragon or vulture, picking you bones dry. Clean. To the marrow, remember? When it's supposed to be he that cuts to the marrow, like under your fingernail to the quick, gets just to the core. It's not a feel good. It's not supposed to feel good. It's supposed to suffering. He said long suffering. That's the gospel. So get away from me. Jesus loves you. Freaking Delmar's a lollipop Christian candy coated. So remember, sweet Jesus. Mixing that with sin, leaven. Remember, a little leaven leavens the whole lump. So can't accept any of it. He doesn't want any change. None. Remember? What kind of meat do priests eat on Sunday? None. Get it? None. Priest. That's Catholicism, Satanism. Catholics are Satanists. They worship Satan, Apollyon. Mithra, birthed on December 25th in the middle of the winter. What kind of education? You have the interweb right now. You know that? The interweb, and you're all caught up in the net, and then you say the things is unwise. It doesn't say love, it says agape. So scratch that word out. It says AGAPE. Why are you changing yods? He said don't even change a jot, and that's a period. Let me guess, you live on that dot, right? And you spin on that dot, right? You spin it faster than the speed of sound, right? At warp speed, right? You're one of those spinning on a ball people, remember? So we'll take your balls and, bounce them on out of here. Little Firestone, exit south. You can take the exit. Stage right or stage left, whatever highway. Broadway is the way. Yeah, remember, broad is the way that leads to hell. And he's got the keys to hell. He's got the keys to knowledge, right? Hell is no knowledge, not below your feet. How about that? So, earth is the ruled. How about that? Somebody make a comment about that. Thanks for the two of you sticking in here. It says there's two of you. So, you can learn, you can glean. Just don't put anything unclean, and I won't correct you. That's your mother. You'd say, call no man father, so I'm not your father. Your brothers and sisters are your mother, the ones that are supposed to correct you with a word. Does that make sense? Like America, that makes no sense. American, and you American, because you kick the can like the debt, 1 trillion every 100 days. You go to the moon and back 4 times. They said they've been there now how many times? Just on $1 trillion, stacking them, not like this, but like this. Back and forth to the lunatic surface. So, like Polio, right? Artemis, remember? Twin sister Artemis. So, twins, same dicks, same rockets. Remember? Phallic worship. Same one in front of the Vatican, same one in the front of the Washington, monument. There you go. Then he just drained the whole pool, the whole blue, right in front of anybody's face. Just put the imagery and even change the clouds in the background. So, interesting, huh? What they can get by with. So they'll have a dinner and, somebody will be popping some tops off some champagne bottles and they'll call it shots, right? Hey, we're going to take some shots, right? Oh, next thing you know, somebody's, some teacher out of California, right? These people will they'll spoon feed the masses whatever they want. It's just more of this, occult worship. So it's all a ritual. That's what they do. They're ritualistic. Look for the man, make him optimistic. Oh. All right. I'm going to put another piece of wood in the wood stove. It's almost May out here, and we're still putting wood in the fire, the wood burner. Oh, man. Oh. The ladies got torched yesterday. But oh well. All right, I don't want to look at this comment anymore. Please, Delmar, don't be in here. Okay, thank you, Father. I don't want to do that Jesus nonsense anymore. So, okay. Thank you, Father, for these truths here. We can share at the ministry, help to correct each other into the narrow way, show people the gospel more than anything. That's what we're here to do. The gospel, this gospel-based ministry, gospel only. So if you can't share any gospel, you have to go right now. Just leave. I don't care if all of you go. If you're not gospel-based, you can't share any gospel, then you probably shouldn't open your mouth until you can, somebody be charitable, give you some, and then you go out and share that light. The light is the gospel. That's what it is. Look up, for your redemption draweth nigh. So, all right, you buying the lunacy that they're doing on the television? Doing on the television? Doing the, give me your comment on the whole White House Correspondents' dinner. Anybody have anything to say about that? Or are you just going to accept that whatever you saw on the television, whatever they propaganda, Operation Mockingbird you know, the repeater tower. So, all right, no comments. Another day of silence in America. This country sucks. I hate it. And the sin it commits every day is an atrocity. It's an abomination. It's a heresy. We've come from no foreign entanglements to putting people in jail for celebrating Christmas, which is an orgy. Wow, that's a whole different country back then, wasn't it? Yeah. Remember, freedom was dangerous. There's no such thing as freedom. Remember how come everybody's in debt? 40% of your money goes to the corporation, and they enslave you in a merchandise you. It's called a merchant number, and they, by law, right? No, by statute, code, mandate, and ordinance, and revise, title, not adjudicated through the House, Congress, and Senate. Crime is a term of commerce, and they enslave people through crimes of commerce. So all crimes in America are crimes of commerce. So it doesn't matter what it is. It could be capital murder. It's all still run through commerce. So they can extort the merchant number of the bonded slave. So even when you're confined, they make money off your bond. The $10 million credit. It's called you're a card. You've been carded. Remember, you got a credit card or a Social Security card number. That's that same merchant number, but nobody wants to talk about that either, huh? America is a corporation. Soon you figure that out, maybe these things will be more easy for you to understand and overstand, so you stop. Nobody's below me, but, understanding is not, I don't understand anything. So there's a reason why this nation was different than any other nation that had ever been in any other, a House, Congress, and Senate, not a democracy, red and blue like Rome. That was different, remember? Augustus and Caesar, you've forgotten, remember? You've forgotten the record, so two different, remember? So you're a lunatic with your Gregorian, thoughts and your Gregorian celebrations and your all this lunar worship and of star, pantheon gods and deities and calendar worship. Going to work is worshiping a calendar, and working for something that taxes you is working for the beast. You are going to hell according to Scripture. So that's what it says. Narrow is the way. So Father doesn't like capitalism. Father hates tall buildings. Remember Babylon? They were trying to build up with pride and go, and rise above others and then reach the stars. And here we go again. Same thing again. It's already happening again. So 99% of the people who walk this rock are evil. Most people are idiots. They don't, when it comes to the word, and that's not for me to decide. That was already been decided. So I'm not being a hater. Remember, we're not supposed to hate the sin. Right? The sinner. We're supposed to hate the sin. So, you're hateful. No, I'm not. What am I supposed to like? What's going on? Like I say, we're a nation run by a bunch of pedophiles and pedos, and the whole world sees it with the Lego videos. They mock this country. And as a veteran, I feel, it's got my PTSD through the roof. What served this disgusting, filthy beast. But the only thing that's keeping me on this rock is I have to endure to the end and can't check out early, and knowing that I did this at a young age. So I was 17, but I was 18 when I joined. So I was an adult. I mean, I joined earlier, than being an adult, but still, I became an adult and it was a volunteer. Now it's not going to be volunteer. Remember, with conscription in the draft, you think, why are they doing that? As a veteran, I'm just totally mind numb how, as the American public, could have, this 26 years, old by automatic registry come December. They don't see that we're at war right now in this country, and they think war is starting with bombs falling in their backyard, and just because none have fallen in their backyard. So it's a sad day to be an American, and and none of it's going to get better. It's just going to get worse, because that's what the scripture says. So stop going around MAGA, make America great again. That's high priest of the Satan church, MAGA. I mean, what kind of an idiot you do walking around, not trying to change anybody. Remember, brothers, sisters, these people are dead set on, being a viper. So you'll know when you talk to them, show them to the narrow way. Broad is the way that leads to hell. So remember the Revelation God, remember the one that Donald Trump has his house. He's going to make that had an Arch of Triumph, which is he's now going to make a 25-story tower, Arch of Trump. So let no one take your crown. He says, I come quickly. On March 11th, he declared, right? January, February, March, 3/11, he declared, like Marduk, like the God of war, Mars, right? You guys don't see it right in your face. He declared the corona crown like a halo, like they put a crown of thorns on his head, like there's a solar crown around the sun. So they worship the sun god, Satan, Apollyon, birthed in the middle of the winter on December 25th. This is just in a manger. I live in a world that everybody's just being turned off in the country that I live. At least in the country I live. I know outside this country it's not all rosy, but it's feel that there's a lot more people who are definitely aware of what these people doing, especially when you look at all these Lego videos where and I'm not basing my whole study off Legos, but these are epic videos. Iran is crushing us in the meme, war. If we had to go there, remember our pretendant puts out social media rants all day and night of the hours of the day, and then puts out him in a jet fighter or dropping poop on his people. America. So put something good about America. I'll wait. Go ahead. I've been doing this stream after stream. There's only one thing that's been brought up, and then that's a week. So go ahead. What's so good about America? America. That's the stupidest thing I think I ever heard. Whacking balls. No, wrong. That's golf. Golf, not golf. Like waters. These people have been drinking too much salt water. Something high in protein. Some kind of salinity. Some kind of samples. Remember? The beast out of the sea. Maybe it's some seaman samples. Get it? Oh. They like their phallic worship. So phallic. Remember? Satan's, phallic. Semiramis cut up his body after he died, remember? Spread his body like the 12 tribes. And blasphemy. They always do. They always mock and mirror with do all the same miracles and wonders, it says. So people are looking for some other kind of, remember he said some other Jesus, Paul said. So the one that comes knocking at their door, with some high-heeled, shoes and some fishnet stockings, right? Late night with some red, rosy red lipstick, asking to be let in. So you're gonna let the devil in. So yeah, fishnet. Remember, we're supposed to be fishers of men, not thief in the night. Remember? So like a birthing pain, like labor, water when the water breaks. Get it? All right, never mind. You don't get it. Most people are lost, remember, in space. So gods in the sky, deities, the same thing. He divorced his bride and called her a whore for the book of Revelation. So and silent authority once again, just sitting there not saying anything. I hope you're gleaning something. This is ridiculous. The country I live in, just everybody stands by as the whole world watches us get memed to death. So it's quite frightening for uh, maybe if I had more people around me or something, but I just don't have the numbers. And that's fine. I don't want to fight with anybody. Remember, I'm not trying to fight. I'm a pacifist. I grow food. I stay away from people. I try to stay out of trouble. Trouble normally come knocking at my door. Remember, sometimes with 25 men with guns throwing grenades and shooting. And so Father can make it tough. You got to just stay girded in His service and don't let this dirt bring you down. He doesn't want you to love the dirt. He wants you to love the word. So I am thankful for that I come in here and share it through this ministry. And although he heavily shadow bans this channel, it's all right. It's part of this continuous cycle where we generally throw more people out here. Most people don't have much of a, let's stay here at, fat at the HD fat, not high definition, but high desert because I'm out in the middle of nowhere. So they can't hang for long. Fat is where it was at, is the best part of the meat. So I don't hang out for the best part, That's all right. Remember, they hung him from a tree, not a cross. So, and he tells us to carry our cross daily, so we can't sit it down. But most people don't know what a cross is. There is no such thing as nobody hung from crosses. The Messiah didn't carry a cross. The image, if you see, he warned about imagery carrying a cross. That's not what he did. So people are blasphemous and heathens, and they like to pervert, make their own translated Jesus. So the transgender, the God of three and one gods, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit is not that's three separate, not three in one. So Father is separate. Son, he had to birth the flesh vessel, and Holy Spirit, Holy Ghost, that's heavens. That's inside you. That's here, not in the sky, But earth is a rule, and heavens are the ruling class. Who rules you? Who? Put that light at the top of your house, your temple, let it shine. The body's a temple. You got two temples right on the side of your head. And you never use them, do you? So, well, your head, He said, I come quickly, let no one take your crown. Remember? So, like a thief in the night, he'd come. Like a woman in labor, he said he would come. The second coming, that was to be his sign, as in the days of Noah, to be going on as if nothing was happening, like the last time of the day of the flood, ever. And then rain for 40 days and 40 nights. This time he's going to bring the fire because people don't know how to keep their dick in their pants. Well, keep them out of the wrong. They don't put them, they keep them out of the, it's abomination for a man to lie with another man. So I put it lightly. Don't want to tiptoe around that. So he brought the fire. Remember, he said, Lot, get your wife. He sent a messenger, an angel as a messenger. Remember, you're not mature enough to use the word angel. 99% of the people that I come across are not mature enough to use the word angel. They don't know what an angel is. They don't define it. If they just define it, that would help them grow up. That's the very first thing you could do to discover what an angel is. Then you'll stop thinking that angels come out of the sky. Remember, the Hamashiach visited John as an angel, as a messenger, and gave him the message, that book, that I am Revelation. So that's the one he gave them, remember, of his second coming. So in the firmament, he gave him, and then the Revelation 13, first 12 and then 13, right, of the dragon. And its tail will cast a third of the stars. So here we are, we're in that time. So beautiful to be a witness to the celestial gospel above our head being played out on the time clock piece, the North Star, the pole star, not some goddess of heaven in the Big Dipper going around this cycle of the Yuga or Kali, going back to Kali into the past and going back again to the same cycle. Now we're in 12,000. It's 6,000 plus years in the future. We were 6,000 past at half cycle was the flood. Remember the promise of the rainbow. I'm going to bring the fire. I've seen enough of this hokey pokey Sodom Gomorrah. I'm bringing the fire. Remember the angel that was sent there. Lot's wife was turned to a pillar of salt, right? So put a 1 in the chat. Let's see if we can spark the algorithm. Maybe I'll start another stream. This stream is lame. I got nothing but a bunch of nobodies in here saying nothing. Lot's wife was turned to a pillar of salt. Put a 1 in the chat if she was turned to sodium. You see the image of Lot's wife. They were told to flee the city. He'd seen, obviously, they'd gone off the deep end with the Gumby and all bendy and pokey over, and, you know, man on beast, man on woman, doing their rituals like they're doing the same thing again. And, oh yeah, they are doing things to kids. The same thing that was going on back then. They're doing it again. Moloch, throw your kids in the fire for sacrifice kids, bloodletting, you know, that's blood, right? That's a baptism is by blood, but you would know nothing about that, would you? Not by water. It's in the definition. Study the definition. Maybe you'll stop falling for, you know, watered down. Maybe be a little more salty. Your salinity, the specific gravity. There's another stupid word, man. I hate gravity. The word gravity shows me how educated somebody is when they say the word gravity to me. So they don't have any education. I know that. They've never studied any magnetics or polarity. You know, it's like the word pole shift. We're not having a pole shift. We're having an excursion of the magnetic polarity. Remember the pole star, the Big Dipper spinning around the pole star. Gee, I wonder what's doing that. It's the Yuga cycle. It's the clock above your head. Oh no, we can go into the clock now. We're gonna land on the lunar surface because we're lunatics, you know. Oh, we're gonna go around it this time. So Artemis, Polyon's twin sister. So, all right, no comments. Appreciate it, guys. I'm not gonna stay in here if no make any comments. I could sit here and go all day, but I actually can't. My back's been just too bad to. It hurts too much. So, but I like to have a conversation. This ministry is not just about me. Otherwise, that's just a channel content video. And if somebody can't make a comment about the live, and normally we don't have issues with that. Sometimes we do because YouTube shadow bans the chat. Nobody gets to make comment. They get booted, kicked out. People, the quality's bad, so they don't stay in here because they want crystal clear vision. And it's not about what you see. It's about, you know, actions speak louder than words. And, you know, you got to be in the long haul to be here. It's not an easy catch to stay here. So I'm in the middle of nowhere. I use a 4G phone. Separate myself from the world. I don't do the world spinning on a ball nonsense. So with all their theories, you know, astronomy and astrology were very close, interlinked in the Yuga cycle, but now they've changed it. Remember, it's a constant. Remember, scientific method, scientific theory is supposed to dispute the known with theory, but nobody even uses. No, it's known because it's a constant. I'm not saying there aren't constants, but you're always supposed to dispute the constant with theory. So you wouldn't know anything about astronomy, would you? Or astrology, where the Yuga, where the, you know, celestial stars are at in the Yuga cycle, and they come back into the same places again and again. Nothing new under the sun. Even Solomon knew this, remember? But, you know, I didn't ask for this, so I don't want to see nobody make a comment. So appreciate your time, guys. Like I said, I'd stay in here if I got a comment or two. I can feel like somebody's hearing me, and because sometimes people don't get any sound either. People come in and out, and there's no sound. So we got rid of Delmar because he said Jesus loved me, and I don't do Jesus is the deity birth on December 25th. So we're not supposed to celebrate birth. So anybody hear me? We'll give this one more shot, or I'm going to wrap this one up. There's 5 in here. Put 5 by 5 in the chat if you can hear me. Or are you just sitting in here gleaning? Not saying anything? I'm from the United Epstein States. Oh, I'm also from the United States of Israel. Thank you. All right. So I'm from the United States of Israel myself. You know, the Mossad agent. You know, Palmdale, or not Palmdale. That's the wrong desert. So Palm Beach, not the. Hey, careful there, Palm Beach beat. So somebody else is not going to fall for this. I burned the flag though. And I hate the flag. I wipe my ass. I'm a veteran with the flag, so I didn't defend the flag. I didn't defend stupid people or a stupid country. It was the right for the people to stand on an X, right? Or not. Or, not to be taxed if they, or, how about not to have permission? I just have to ask permission to build on my own land and pay to build and ask permission to build on the land that I own. Do I really own it? Remember? So now I'm going to give it to you. Remember, it's all, he can't produce the F. Like, what the this is bozo world, brothers, sisters. I can't do this whole shooting thing again. This is stupid. Caroline Levitt came out and said there will be, shots, be, oh my gosh, this is just nonsense. It just doesn't, I can't follow it anymore, man. It is too scripted. They're not even good at it. The guy sitting there, he just stands there and he sits back down. He's just eating his food. Nobody in the room reacts, like there was somebody shooting anybody in there. It was like the only, have you seen the picture of like, because they've gone through and they've still framed every single, obviously in the age of meme and stuff, they're going to pull out everybody's got a bad side, right? Or a bad day, but they're going to find that. But what is it? Melina, or is it Ivanka? Oh, I think it's Melina. Ivan or whatever male. I think it's male. Ina or whatever. Enoch or whatever. They're nonsense. But anyway, she's got this look on her face like, and everybody's like, what the hell is this? Oh my God, are you serious? And then Mr. Warp Speed's up over there like with that, accordion, just how he does his, here it comes, it's coming. And so the guy's sitting up there with a cue card or whatever that was, the guy, I just do it, guys. It's just so scripted. You know what I'm saying? That's right. Tell me something good about America 9925. Tiz. What's that? Aver. Oh man, my freaking eyeballs. And your name is hard to pronounce. So we're going to call you 9925 unless you just want to throw out another. We'll call you AI, advanced intelligence, not artificial. If you think there's artificial intelligence, please leave this room right now. I can tell me computer can learn. Yeah, now you fall for it. Wally, I'll be back. John Connor, Jesus Christ, all this. They put this in television and script you. So, oh yeah. What was it? Futurama, all this. Yeah, they like to play little tricks on your vision, television to you in animation. Television and animation, right? So, hey, The Simpsons never let me down. So, all right. Hey, you got to watch these memes, dude. These Lego memes are killing it, dude. So, the whole world knows that we have a pedo class. So, this is crazy. Think this is the easiest villain to overrun, and I'm not talking for. Well, no, I probably pronounce your name. I don't know. It's not eyeball network. I'm not sure if that's how you're. Veracitus? I can't get it. Okay. Yeah, because Remember, hey, listen, hey, we're gonna go there, connection. You were brutal last night, but that's all right. You can do whatever. You just do you. So check it out. Hey, you got to be accountable to Father. I ain't trying to turn anybody. I ain't trying to turn you, right? But if you're young. So, but I want you to go back and listen to this because you'd appreciate it. If you go back to, I think it was Andrew Dice Clay, right? He's talking about. He's like, you take them home, you wine them, you dine them, you hold a tree trunk, right? And then he says something about, I can't remember the setup because you got to go watch it, but he says something about oh, cool. Ava? Cool, Ava. Right on. I know, like Avery, like a flight. So, okay. I'm like a bird and I want to fly away. So, okay. moving on. America, tell me something good about America. Nothing. And I've asked people now for how many streams. Tell me something good about America, too. And Europe's the same way now. All Europe's the same way. It's a beautiful country, beautiful land. There are some people there that are, that, but that's everywhere. It's not. Remember, Israel was a people. It was a family, not a country. So, and that's all by design. That's all by America going and displacing all these wars in Syria and Iraq and Yemen, all this stuff. Afghanistan is brought in all this, influx of migrants where they have no-go zones over there, where there are literally people who do not understand in the Americas. The North one, they forget that there's a South, right? They think everything's America. That this is, again, all by design. It's all being scripted, and there are literally places, again, where the cops will not police, and these people over there, they don't assimilate. So they've taken in, just changed the whole demographic by immigration, by, an exodus, by war, Yeah, so that's my problem. Okay, right now I'm one of these Americans. I'm stuck because the system failed me, potentially killed my son and daughter because I tried to stand up because they failed him and double jeopardied him, and they still wouldn't, listen. Still tried to throw my son in prison for 7 years or whatever, probably, and I wouldn't let him. And then they ended up, grenading me, shooting my son, kidnapping my daughter, and they've gotten away from all of this. They've gotten away with right now. So they won't. Father will pour out a just measure. Nobody's getting away with anything after death. After we all pass through that final judgment, it's Father will pour out a just measure. He's inside of us. He sees what's going on. He sees your intentions. He sees what the world doesn't see. So I'm not seeking vengeance towards no man. I know that Father will hold all these people accountable, but I, as a veteran who served the constitutional right of the people, not a stupid flag. I wiped my ass with the American flag, the Denmark flag of Denmark, the all of them. They're all, well, it's all right. It's meant to be. Father doesn't make a single mistake, and you don't have to be sorry. I'm a veteran. If I take a right, when I served this country, it was my DD 214 is what they give you when you're ETS, your Echo Tango Sierra, you end your tour service. You don't stop serving, and that's not a true veteran. I've served behind, in front, with and beside other veterans, and they weren't veterans. They weren't soldiers. They've forgotten what it is. It's like a cop. We go out and ask a cop now, who do you serve? Do you serve the state, the county, the government? I thought you served the people. It was the right of the people to choose. They failed. Our standing army that the writers of the Constitution warned about, these state police and deputies and these, where didn't they stand up during the COVID and protect the businesses? Because that was done by, basically at a state level by the corporations. They blocked out people, Walmart's not open 24 hours. They contribute a lot to this, and that's all owned by Palantir, and that's all Trump's buddies and the Koch brothers with all the paper products. That was all pre-planned. All this stuff that they do is filthy, disgusting, and it affects the whole world. And everybody's getting tired of it. And people here in America don't care, and I do, because I serve the rights. So people don't. They have forgotten their rights. Remember, Declaration of Independence, Bill of Rights, and the constitutional right of the people who are here, whether they're a citizen or not, have rights in this country. They have forgotten. That's right. You don't need to have citizenship. Citizen is some kind of birthright that's a part of this corporation. It was the original 13 states, colonies. Remember Jamestown? But see, everybody's forgotten. Like, orgy was Christmas, and it was banned in this country. This country was founded off the orgy called the Saturnalia, or the Feast of the Yule. But these idiots, they don't remember the Nina, the Pinta, the Santa Maria, 1492. He sailed the ocean blue. Remember, came over here fleeing Catholicism. You know what I'm saying? The Catholic Church, Satanism. They would kill you. They were savages. Remember, they didn't care, impale you on a stake. They would put your child, if you were with, like Caroline Levitt, they'd unzip you and take that child out and squash his head like a grape. They were savages. The Inquisitions, remember Mr. Red Cross on his meme with him going and putting his hand on Mr. EpiPen, there and then said, oh, I'm a doctor. Yeah, the doctor of Apollyon, warp speed, the one with the 58-story tower, remember? The bringer of the disease, the rider of Revelation, the first white horse, the one on the White House, or a white horse. There's 2 riders of Revelation on white horses. You better get your facts straight. So, well, either way, moving on, in a white house or a white horse, the one that brings the disease, remember, they're one that has the disease and brings the cure, and the other one has the inheritance, the sword, the 2-edged sword that cuts to the marrow, not a feel good, but literally, remember, to the core, and that earthly spills out of you. It's not a feel good. Remember, do not think I came to bring shalom, peace. I came to bring a sword. That's him. Yeah, the one on the white horse, not the one in the White House. I mean, on the first white horse of Revelation. So these people do not listen to the word. So I know exactly what the word says, and I follow the word, not the world. Remember, they're spinning everything, translating, giving their own version of the word. They don't study any word. So I study the word. Father's the word, not some deity in the sky. When you die, you go to the word. So he said to meet him in the sky. Remember, the skies will roll back like a scroll, like the laws were written on scrolls, literal rocks. These people can kick rocks in America. I hate this country. I hate everything it's about. Now, remember, it was blessed, right? Well, abundant bounty, because they were fleeing Catholicism. They were Puritans, not pilgrims. Remember, they would not celebrate this. That's what Columbus was doing. He came over here, even though, remember, all of them, Masons, all this part of this Scottish Reich, part of this, they were fleeing this. This is where this is from, brothers and sisters. But at least, over 2%, they stood up and redressed grievances. Remember, first ballots, and then, well, they threw tea in the harbor. You got state, federal, gross, net, gross. It makes me sick. You know what I'm saying? Horrible. Remember, I nuked them. I had to go into town. I nuked 3 of the plants. Are pretty much done. That's all right. There's something on them. They'll just be late, and that's fine. It's okay. It's not a big deal. I have a lot of season left. So, Jimmy crack corn, and I don't care. Remember, with their corn daddy Jesus, you can't serve 2 masters. So that's why they came over to this nation, sisters. So, remember, they wrote the Constitution on hemp. Remember? Haven't you ever listened to what he said? Who was the comedian? Said, yeah, Martha Washington, man. She'd have a big bowl waiting for George every day he would come home, man. She was a hip chick, man. Who was that said that? Some comedian. Never mind. I apologize, man. All right. You ever seen the back of a dollar bill, man? There's some strange going on the back of a dollar bill, man. And it's green too. And God we trust, right? So, all right, moving on. Had to go there. So connection just entered the conversation. So I can't stand this nation. Thank you, A, for at least, you're in a European nation. That's part of the same thing. They fled Europe, came over here because they were celebrating Christmas under another name. They would throw you in jail here, fine you, and because it was an orgy that was outlawed. Remember, by Washington. Banned Christmas, was a banned, couldn't celebrate it. Once again, an orgy, a Roman orgy that people are totally accepting today with beast, man, and woman. Remember the Romans, how they went out? Man on beast, beast on, that's their deity, Baphomet, their transgender god. Baal worship, sun worship. This all goes back to before Rome. This has been going on since the beginning of time, man. Like I said, I see why people worship the sun. If you lived in the time where you just got basically, grew up with nothing, you born in the world naked, you got up every day, you know what I'm saying? And the only way you would survive was that sun. You knew that the sun created those plants when you put water, or you could figure out how to grow something. It was that every night you'd almost freeze your ass off because to death, and then that day would fight the night, that night would battle the day, and you'd barely come back to life, right? When the sun come up, I bet you get out there and you'd bow at that sun too, huh? I'd worship the sun back then. Hallelujah. I would. If you'd never seen the scripture, you've never read, you'd worship the sun too. I'd be out there every day praising that big old ball of what I thought might be fire, right? Which is literally electric. It's plasma. But what do you think causes, what do you think made the Grand Canyon? There's larger caverns and, literal, like if you ever study any of this rock surface, the geology, any of these records, the paleo records, there are literal, canyons that are dwarfed, right? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, worship the one that keeps the sun moving. He's the dynamo that makes the sun spin. We're not spinning. Everything else is spinning, right? Except for the lunar surface. So worship the S-O-N, not the S-U-N. Thank you. Good stuff there, Nudge. Oh, what is it? Dodge. New dodge. Hey, if you can't dodge it, ram it. Remember? Getting tired of the donkey and the elephant, man? People stubborn. Stock up on the lamb. So the S-O-N, not the S-U-N. So, but you would every day you get up, man, and that thing could save your life. Think about that. It would. You'd almost freeze your cojones off, right? You would, and you get up. Either a woman too, it wouldn't matter. She'd be colder now. She'd get up every day, and if you were just out there, and that sun would be a lifesaver almost, huh? So. Thank you, Father, for the word. So when we hear the word, we know not to worship the glowing ball in the sky, right? He divorced his bride for that. Exactly. They're worshiping the glowing ball in the sky. Remember? And making up their own laws. Remember? They thought there was a goddess of heaven spinning the Big Dipper around the pole, the North Star. They thought there was a goddess of heaven up there spinning that. That's your Yuga cycle. That's the swastika, which is not a swastika. It's a symbol that's been around for thousands of years, inverted at World War II. That's what they do, though. They like to pervert everything, pure and make it impure. Take 99 truths and put a lie in it so you believe it, or tell you 99 lies and a truth so you hear some truth so you forget about the 99 lies, and you take it as like Mr. Warp Speed when he says something. The whole MAGA high priest of the crowd, the maggots, they follow whatever he says. So. Yeah, spheres of him. There you go. So I don't worship spheres, ball worship. That's all. The Torah has a cylindrical value, shape, frequency, resonance, like a circle, a perfect circle. That is circle over circle. That's Vesica Pisces. That's the birth symbol. That's your Under Armour, inverted Visa, MasterCard. That's all they put that image in front of you everywhere. They push it more than any other symbol. It is birth. They have to birth their king, remember? No. Yeah, we don't like balls in our face, so. Okay, can actually go back to listen to that Andrew Dice Clay thing. It's so funny. I think it's Andrew Dice Clay sitting there. But there's no freedom. Like there's no free will. So everything is set on a cycle. Nothing new under the sun. Remember 369? Anybody who has a brain bigger than a pea can figure that out, but most people don't. Remember, they have a gravitational pull instead of a magnetic polarity. Their frequency. They think they die and go to the sky. Rapture nonsense. So it's okay. They don't. It's all right. Remember, we're not. It's already. All this has been pre-selected because it's perfect. It's a perfect mathematical. It's like algebra, very simple, like quantum computing, very basic. It's like quantum physics. It's not a complex. It's a constant. It's when you throw the variable that people start thinking a computer can learn and believe that things are artificial instead of advanced, and 0, 1, 0, 1, and now they can go to the sky. The same thing that creates time, which they used to know, right, and could track, but now people think like 2012, or remember, they thought their computers were not going to turn to zero, and there's no zero. There is no zero. That letter does not, or excuse me, number, because Yod is a letter, apologize, doesn't exist. If you go back in the cycle, there is no zero. It's just a placeholder. Just like there is no 1,000. Oh, a day on earth is 1,000 years with Father. There's no 1,000. You're an idiot. You have no understanding of what time is. Time is illusion. Death is a doorway. You don't die. Remember quantum physics? If you take something from here, you have to give it back over here. But no, I die. You're supposed to do this every day, you idiot. That's a cycle. Oh, now. No, don't follow Jesus as Satan. Get away from me. So that's what they put. They put the false ether. That's what that symbol is, the circle that you're talking about, Dodge. What you were talking about earlier, they put that false ether over everybody with their towers. in the city, so they can lock everybody in these boxes and the frequency and the mind waves and got him with the mind control, voice to skull technology. Remember, like messenger pigeons, like Tesla, same thing. People have lost. Remember Tartaria? You think you could take a copper and figure out to wrap it around a magnet, create electricity? You don't think this has been done, dozens of times? So throughout, scribe, record into the stone rock. You know what I'm saying? These people are artificial idiots. Remember? Antichrist idiots is what they are. AI. That's what AI is. Antichrist idiot. So it is. It's the same thing. These people don't have any idea what they're talking about. They've been spun. Remember? Circle worship. It's a circle jerk. Remember? I come quickly. Let no one take your crown. Hello. Halo. Like the serpent and the drag. That's the halo. Anytime you see the halo, that's a symbol of Satan. Remember, you got your red Jesus over here and your white Jesus, the red devil and the white devil. Remember? They think one's good, one's bad. Oh, but see, they do what the world's doing. They're spinning at 1,040 miles an hour. The spin, remember to spin, that's a Hebrew word. Let's take it back to what it means. It means to twist, to spin. Remember? I think it was Dodge came in the room and said that Father basically is the dynamo that makes everything spin, except for the lunar surface that just sits there and stares at us like stuck on dumb, because it's the opposition of magnetism. That's why, again, it's colder in the light and warmer in the shade. It's just the opposite of magnetism, you idiot. Remember, it took them the same amount of time to go around the dark side of the moon, supposedly, as the Dark Side of the Moon album, guys. Just so you know, the exact amount of time for Artemis, the twin sister of Apollyon. This is worship, brothers and sisters, occultism, Kabbalism, Masonry. This has been celebrated for thousands of years. These people are the masters, remember, and you can't serve two masters, and that's why you serve your alien tongue. They know there's no deities in the sky, brothers and sisters. They know that. That's right. There you go. It's just a placeholder. There you go. Thank you, connection. It's just a placeholder. That's all it is. It doesn't have value. And if you can enter and understand gematria, you would get that. You would understand that. But you fall for this Kabbalah worship of numbers. It's not 2026. You're an idiot. Get away from me. Remember? It's not 2026. That's how you know you're speaking to one of these circle jerks. Remember, spinning on a ball? It's 2026 on their Gregorian lunar calendar. Lunar worship, moon worship, sun worship. That's all this is. The whole world has done what they did in past. This was outlawed by literally, remember, the two pontiffs said, we're not doing this worship of the calendar wheel and the perversion of the time and the new year in the middle of the winter and the sun god and the aligned with the tree god. And that's Baphomet. That's the one with three genders. And this is what they're doing again. This was outlawed. Remember, they throw you in a jail cell and take some gold or silver out of your pockets, because gold and silver was money back then. So not some piece of paper, something you wipe your ass with. Ask somebody who can't learn. You don't learn from history, do you? Because it's written in a book. That's not history. That's one side. The victor gets the spoils. So, but that's what I'm saying. People don't see this. They see it from a different perspective. They do this worship of the calendar. And what's the easiest way for you to worship the calendar? Have a job. You have a job? You have a job? Then you're a worship of Satan. You worship the calendar. You've let them control your life by a calendar. You're doing working 9 to 5. What a way to make a living. Hey, you want to know why Dolly Parton's waist is so small and her breasts are so big? Because I walked in the shadow of the valley of death, because nothing grows in the shade. What a way to make a living, and it's just getting by. Right? You worship a calendar if you think that there's nobody, it doesn't matter. They only cared about time to grow food. That's it. They didn't go, oh, I got to do this because of taxes. So if you have a job, you're a lunatic, and I rebuke you. I hate the job that you have. I hate that you work for the man, and I hate that you contribute the taxes to kill the 168 Iranian children, and you will pay for that at judgment. You will. You are responsible. You have the blood of those Iranian girls on your hands. If you paid a W-2 and filled out federal taxes, guilty. So keep supporting the beast. Father hates this. Father hates city. Father hates pride. I see you guys like a toaster oven. You're all going to just light up red, like there'll be just ashes. He said, remember your enemies be ashes under your feet, like the phoenix rising out of the ashes. So I don't see any cities standing. I see them turn to literal ashes. So yeah, Mars Day. Remember Mars, Marduk, the god of war, Mars. So, but if you have a job, you're producing these killer dollars. So you might not want to hang out here because I'll just keep spitting the truth to you. I know I serve the beast. Even worse, imagine actually serving with a uniform, and putting on, serving actual in loins. You just paid with your tax dollars, but if you pay to have somebody killed, you're still an accessory and accomplice to murder. So you've got blood on your hands, America. So yeah, Woden, their god Woden, remember? So Nordic, brothers, sisters, these are all Nordic gods, the gods of the Baal worship, of the Ostrogoths and the Visigoths and the Vandals. These were all worshiping this transgenderism, this god of three genders in one god. So same deity, brothers, sisters, just under a different name. So, and it's Shem, authority is what it means, under a different authority. There is no such thing as name. Don't ever say name again. You don't have the responsibility of your dialect. It's your alien tongue is not welcome to use that. So most people shouldn't use words that they don't know what they mean. You don't know what the hell you're talking about if you don't define the words, and nobody in this room other than maybe my regular moderators know where hell's at. It's not below your feet. Heaven's not above your head. Earth is the ruled, and you're ruled by your foreign tongue. That's the word alien. So there is no gods in the sky. That's exactly why he divorced his bride Israel and called her a whore. So in the book of Revelation. So might want to get with the word. Father's the word. He doesn't want you perverting. Remember the word, Hokadesh became flesh. That's the one who has the sword of Revelation, not the one with the bow. That's the first writer of Revelation. We've already seen that. We're already in the book of Revelation. You don't have to wait for that. That's the word apocalypse. So if you're waiting for the apocalypse to happen, I am pastor. I will reveal, not through me, through Father, through the Hokadesh, through the Spirit, and through the Aletheia, through the truth by definition. Remember, hell's not below your feet. Dead people don't fall out of the sky when the dead are raised from the ashes and the dust. But all your lunatic friends think that dead people are in the sky. Nobody's been judged. That's blasphemy. The final Trump is shofar, not some dude on social media acting like he gotten popped and shots out of him again. Some school teacher this time out of California, going back to Cali. So here we go. It's all an occult ritual. You don't see it. Like Governor Nuisance, they're all in on it too. So poly meaning many, tick meaning bloodsucker. So if you're an American and you filled out a W-2, you killed those Ukrainian Ukrainian women. They put their women in the meat grinders. Anybody want to tell me why the United States government is making conscription or a draft? Well, 26 years of age now, automatic enrollment come this December. You don't think they're going to use that? I warned you back when I was Truth Viral Television. I'm TV. I'm the host of Truth Viral, where the truth goes viral, right? TV, right? Warned you of all the 923 executive orders, which this channel has covered in great length. And again, this channel has been covered on, the U.S. debt calculator, the work that's been done here. So you put your treasure wherever you think it's worth, okay? But again, if you paid, right, like not being a debt slave, attention to what was going on, you wouldn't partake in these things. You would find a way out of the system, okay? You would find a way out of the system. You wouldn't keep feeding the beast because your tax dollars go to kill Ukrainian women and children, the whole Ukrainian generation unalived by the American people. Tax paper, it's going to go down in history like that. It doesn't matter if you know that it happened or not. You still paid for it. You're still an accomplice. You'll still, at judgments, if you got away with it in this lifetime, when we all pass through the final seventh shofar trump, when the skies roll back like the scroll, right? When he says you put 1 foot on the land, 1 foot on the sea, right? You'd be changed in the twinkling of an eye at the last trump. Then everybody's going to see all the Ukrainian women that you killed with your federal tax dollars. Your state goes to potholes, right? Holes. There was, the teachers. Everybody always talks about that too, and I just want to make a mention that we connect that there were a lot of staff killed that day too. Iran is not like anything like anybody in America. Just almost like Mexico isn't like anything anybody sees in America. It's not. It's just not. So it is what it is. I'm not trying to tell anybody in America I hate America. So there's nothing that I like about America. And I'm generally not speaking to American people. I'm not. They don't want to listen to me. So they didn't, it's not for me to decide. I put out the 923 executive order video and warned of what was to come. And now here we are again, the same things. They didn't put this draft in place for no reason. They've been training our troops on crowd control. They didn't put ICE in the streets on more than half of America to, make it so that when there's vans driving around picking up your neighbor, you don't say nothing. You keep your mouth shut. And that's why they put ICE at the airport, so you're not leaving when this happens. Okay? So, brothers and sisters, I serve the right of the people. And so I can hate the sin that a man commits. I'm not supposed to like it. You've been spun by some religion, so you can leave now. Father doesn't love everybody. He hates, right? Like we are supposed to, the sin, and he makes people sin. He makes them do that. It's called idolatry. It's idolatry. There's no free will. There's no self-will. Right? Oh, there is self-will. He knows what you're going to do. You got options, but it's going to come at a cost because you're not doing his will. That's the word agape. You're doing your own will. And Father knows it. And Father makes people do this. He makes people do, Father creates evil. In the book of Isaiah 45:7, he creates the calamity and the chaos that you're seeing. He creates all things, everything that was ever written, everything that ever was. He creates good. Father said again, Isaiah, that he creates evil, the calamity and the chaos that you see. He will bring the sorrows that we are in now. Sorrows, not it's going to get better, it's going to get worse. Not great again, worse is what's going to happen. Worse. So that's exactly right. Iran never attacked us, and Mr. Warp Speed went on a hunch, remember? And went in. This has been planned, brothers, sisters. Remember, this same thing has gone on through the last few administrations, okay? And this time, it was Satan Yahoo because we're fighting Israel's war now. Remember? This is not Israel. That's the problem. You don't see is that Israel in Scripture is not some place in the middle of the desert, and it never was. That was not Israel. Israel was Jacob. Jacob he loved. He called him Israel. It was a tribe of 12 families, not a country. That's the stupidest thing ever. That's the problem with modern society. And everybody's falling in on it because Mr. Warp Speed is in on it too. Operation Warp Speed, Operation Mockingbird, Operation Nanook, Operation High Jump, Project Blue Book, not Operation Blue Beam. That's a PSYOP. Speaking of blue. So again, Iran never attacked anybody in America, yet we went over there and blew up school children, and you're going to pay for that. And you will. So put a 1 in the chat if you're American. And how are you going to deal with that at come judgment? How are you going to justify that? That's 2 cheeks to the same hole, 2 wings to the same dragon or vulture picking your bones completely, dry. So the dragon, man, the dragon or the vulture. So I don't know about a little, remember, wise as a serpent and gentle as a dove. So those who say peace and safety, sudden destruction will come upon those who call out for peace. So Iran has been 2 weeks away from having weapons of mass destruction. You've been mass distracted for almost 40 years. Correct connection? So only God can judge you in the end. Oh, that's one of the stupidest things you could ever say in your life, Dodge. Truly it is. Don't say that because you need a mediator. You don't want to stand before Father. You need an in with the judge. That's Father, Aries, the ram. Remember, he birthed the flesh vessel, the lamb. David declared him the Lamb of God. So you need that mediator. You don't want to stand before Father. You need a covering. So you got to stand up to perversion. And that's what gets you that mediator, because you stand up, because he stood up. Remember, they perverted his father's Torah, the testament of the old. Remember, Genesis, Leviticus, Numbers, right? Genesis, Leviticus, Numbers, Exodus, and Deuteronomy, right? Whatever, it doesn't matter. The order doesn't matter. I'm just messing with you. But it was the law, and they perverted it. So if you don't stand up to perverted law, then you're not going to be held there at the wedding. You will not. You'll go to the gnash teeth. So you judge with righteous judgment, and then you have somebody pleading your case. So there you go. But do you see what I'm saying? I make the mistake sometimes of saying that, like, God, you do not want Father judging you. Under the Old Testament, eye for an eye, remember, but the wages of sin was death, where you were not supposed to judge, because remember, that was a different time. Now under this covenant, he set the lamb, right? The lamb. David declared him the Lamb of God. So we follow the lamb, right? And so we don't want to stand before Father, because one sin is death. He's like, hey, no, Father, you said, remember, I covered them. I paid that price. I paid the bride price I was going to bring them back to you, remember, and you were going to receive them. And so this is a contract. We're not bound by the Old Testament laws of fate. We're not lawless. There's a difference between being destined and bound by the Old Testament laws of flesh and fate. We're not bound by that. That's the beautiful thing. Knowing the difference is half the battle. So doing the other thing, Maranatha, believe is an action word. Remember, it's not a thought in your head. Believe is a verb, not a noun. Faith is a noun. You still got to put legs on faith. Maranatha, until I return. I want to find your loins girded in my service. Then you'll be called out in the book of life. Doing what he did, following him. He stood up to perverted law. So if you don't stand up to perverted law, you're not going to Father. That is part of agape love for Father, is to be crucified. Remember, if you are loved, loved is agape, not phileo. Phileo is the things of the world. Like Peter, he was struggling with the things of the world. That's why he said to Peter, I'm not asking you if you phileo me, do you agape me? If you are loved by the world, agape. If you are agape by the world, you be hated by my Father. So he'll only throw you away if you're a worker of iniquity at the end. No, he'll throw you away if you change any of his words. Connection, that's not true. So this was already preset. So you can make mistakes. You can fall back. You can repent, walk in repentance after being rebuked by Father for an extended period of time, and then forgiveness comes. Not like you forgiving somebody. He said, turn your cheek, be meek under this covenant, but forgiveness from Father comes with patience, and he rebukes you with his word. You walk in repentance it could be years before he ever forgives you. Peter asked to be crucified upside down because he was still being rebuked by Father at his time of death. Remember? So some of us will carry the weight, the yoke, or the stock that he carried, not a cross. He didn't carry a cross. That's blasphemy. Nobody carried crosses. They nailed them to a stock. Remember, you know that. That's why they nail people to the U.S. Stock Exchange, buy birthright them and merchandise them and tax cattle them. You've been here, but remember, he said, if you add a jot or a tittle, that's where you will need to make sure you don't do. Because remember, because you're a thief and you can't keep. You got some kleptomania. I'm not saying to take anybody's things. Remember, that's not, but he is wanting to know, did you stand up to my word, a perversion of my word? He's very adamant about that. You know what I'm saying? He's adamant about that. Let's share that, because I keep sharing that with you over and over. One thought, one jot, one tittle, hell. That's what he's not leaning on. The other things, he's not looking at it. A sin is a sin, under the Old Testament, whether venial or mortal, remember? Under this covenant, he is very adamant about not perverting. That's why he sent his son and made and fulfilled all the laws of celebration, ritual, feed, fine. So remember, so we don't do any of these things. We're not bound by all these Old Testament laws of flesh and celebration and circumcision and all. Remember, it's a spiritual circumcision under this. And remember, Paul said, circumcise the outer man, the flesh, cut it off. Not the male genitalia, the laws of flesh. Wrestle not against flesh and blood. The rituals of baptism by blood. Remember, not by water. Remember, long suffering. So Father wants us to go through a heat press, through a crucible, right? To be put in there and be burnt, the impurities. The earth burns off of us so we can be purified 999 like gold and silver. He said, be refined, right? So we're going to make mistakes, but not with his word. We don't go back to making the mistakes that we did, especially when it comes to his word. So the other things, you can't keep you think the word of the day is legs, and you can't keep your legs closed because you're a lady or you're a guy. You think with your small head all the time and you just want to get your wick wet. Father he's not concerned. Remember, marriage is to the word, not to yoke with somebody. Don't bring her home and take her and visit her with mom, and this is irrelevant. The word, the sins, because you stand up to his word. That's the sins of the world. You need to start telling this to everybody you know, because everybody is mixed under the old. Right. Oh, I've done great works and I've cast out lies, untruths in your name, just like we're doing here. That's not going to get you with Father. We've all done iniquity, brothers and sisters. We all fall short of the word. So, but we need to tighten our ship when it comes to the word. I'm not saying be all loose in your other part of your life. You need to try to keep run a tight ship. But where Father is calling out his bride are the ones that are the disciples that are called out in the book of Luke. My disciples. Remember, Oligos, find the straight gate. So that's the ones, again, in Matthew, the ones that deny self daily, take up their cross daily, and follow after him daily. So if you do what he's doing, you're going to do less of the world. You're not going to keep committing the same sin, brothers and sisters. You will not. You will, remember, the word mark is the word karak, and the word sin is to be off the mark. Your karak is your character. Your character is off. And so Father will rebuke you. He will make you stop or start doing the things he wanted to because you weren't doing, or stop that he said stop doing them. He will do it through the word. Not any man. No man can do that. Only Father rebukes. Father is the word. So around doing exorcism, thinking people are demons. There's no such thing as a demon. A demon was a compliment. It was called the word demonion, and they used to pray their ancestors to their deities, little g gods, for fortunes. It was a compliment, like OG, or I don't know what's a compliment today for people, but how about wise and faithful servant? Are you serving the word? He says, take a cross daily, deny yourself daily. You're not here to be loved by the world. If you deny me in front of your friends and your family, I'll deny you in front of my Father. If you're loved by the world, you'll be hated by my Father. Does that sound like some Sex Pistol? Let me see your Decima. Everybody get their hands up. Jesus. Robbing you of your inheritance. No, you will send yourself to hell. Nobody's sending you to hell. Father doesn't tempt anybody. He tests you. It's a test to your will and a test to your faith. Is it going to be your will? That's self-will. Or is it going to be Father's will? That's agape. There is no other way. Broad is the way. Remember? Oh, me too. He takes everything from me. God, no matter. I'm never going to stop serving him. I love the word, not the world. There's nothing here. I'd like to have some more experience, but I don't care about dirt things. That's heathenism. Things of the dirt. Remember, he doesn't want us to love the dirt. He wants us to love the word. Father is the word. He's not in the sky. He's right here inside of us. Like Paul said, the kingdom of heaven is within. To receive that inheritance, we must go through much tribulation to receive that. Thalipsis is the word tribulation. We have to suffer. So this is part of being the bride. And people don't like us, and that's okay. If you're loved by the world, you'll be hated by my Father, remember? So you're not here to make friends with the world. You're not here to sup with vipers. You're here to sup with the word and share that light with others, and you're going to be crucified for that. People are going to tell you you're nuts. You don't hang out at the water thing, anymore. They don't like it because you chooch on cigarettes or whatever, because you don't talk about. You say, hey, you guys celebrate, that's stuff's pagan. We're not supposed to do anything. So don't you ever use the interweb? You can't believe everything you see on the web, but 2 or 3 gathered, if you witness and go out and do some, some actual research, you can find this is a total pagan holiday that was outlawed. They'd actually throw you in jail, and you're doing it all again. And he told us don't do this. Dude, what's up with that, dude? Why you gonna be such a stick in the mud, man? It's about the kids. Yeah, you're destroying the kids' mind. Telling them to celebrate birth. That's the most vain thing you could do on this rock, is celebrate self. idolatry, or the birth of oneself. So if you ever didn't know, if you ever met a Satanist, well, if any ever knew who celebrates birth, it's the birth of Satan. That's the birth that's celebrated in Scripture. There's only one other birth, that would be Herod, and he was trying to kill the Messiah. Remember, having the firstborn, remember, the king, they knew the birth of the king was going to be birthed, because the Magi knew that was like Daniel was professed in the celestial firmament of his coming. Remember, I'm a Magi. All these celestial markers, stars, sun, moon, all these different, remember, the Magi were watching for the star marker, right? And the stars, to watch the king star conjunct with the morning star to create, remember, the Star of David, right? You know, there's a clock above your head, so if you'll use it, but you tell me that some hand pointed at a number on a wall, like Connection said, a broken clock is right twice a day. That's not a clock. That's not time. Well, that's not time. Time is a doorway. Time is a like death. It's where one closes, another one opens. It doesn't end. You think that time is you don't end. You just keep everything in your body rebirths, correct? Your skin cells die daily. It ain't no different than fire. If fire is the same, is fire the same thing as it was before? No, it dies and then it recreates itself over and over and over and over and over. That's fire. It's never ending. That's how you are. If you can understand that, then maybe you could understand what fire is. Maybe you can understand what eternity is. That is Father. He is fire. He is the beginning and the end. That never-ending light, burning light that doesn't end. Remember, it's always recreating itself. That same fire is gone, and now there's a new fire. Every single moment of the past is a recreation of that. That's what you are. Quit telling yourself that you're some kind of something that ends. You're an idiot. Nothing. It's a doorway, okay? And if you, I don't want to try to, maybe it's too complicated for you, but death. You're supposed to die to self every day. You know what I'm saying? There you go. They don't even know the direction, right? Because heaven's not above your head. The kingdom of heaven is within. Father is not in the sky, brothers, sisters. You fall off a cliff like Paul was shoved off a cliff, stone backwards. He's still with you. Obviously, they literally threw, like, remember, your accuser got to come throw, like massive stones, and then if that didn't finish you off, there, the rest of you with like 20-kilogram like bowling balls and come and wreck every. If they're just being tossed off the highest precipice, the land, didn't kill you, right? Then they'd finish you off with rocks, but somehow Paul got up. And remember, he wasn't young, like 33, like spines in our back, like raising the thoracic Jed spine. They like to raise their Jedi. Never mind. So, okay, like Jacob's ladder. Moving on. Okay, but anyways, brothers, sisters, this should be obvious what these people are doing here, right in front of your face. They're performing this continual occult ritual of the rising sun and the day and the night, the dark and the light, creating this same cycle that has happened, remember, over and over and over, and they ride the cycle. But you think that things are ending. It's not an end. It's a beginning. It's time that overlaps itself, eats itself like a doorway. That's what it is. That's time. But time is not what you've been told. They got you going to work and thinking time is going to work to have a job. That's not what time was ever invented for. Time was invented to grow food. That's what it was there. That's why they looked at that thing to know when to grow food, period. Anything else, that's called paganism. So heathenism is dirt worship. So remember, people who love the dirt. So most people are both. They love the dirt and worship the sky. The same reason he called his bride out as a whore and divorced her. So here we are again, and they're doing the same, spinning on a ball camp. They're in the ball camp, whatever camp they're in. Block or bra, it doesn't, the geometric shape is irrelevant. They go around the box in Mecca. You know what I'm saying? So there you go. Use the moon too. Remember the lunar cycle. They always planted, Dodge, that. I don't have to tell you that. I already know you know that. They always planted by the moon. You'll get double and triple your crops if you'll plan by the lunar cycle and not the sun. People plant during the day. At night, they used to go out and harvest by the night, grow, plant at the night, navigate by the night. The night was much cooler in the day. Remember, yeah, it was easier, so they used that clock above their head to navigate. They didn't have a Rolex, so they didn't have a. Oh, okay. Oh, let's see. What do we got here? It's O dark 30. It's 2 hairs past a mole or a freckle. You know what I'm saying? Guys, they used the clock above their head, and they knew that to when to plant food, when to navigate, when to when to move, when to. Remember, fishers of men. Remember the apostles. Remember, some of them were actual fishermen. They used this as a navigational tool, brothers and sisters. Remember, it says in Genesis for times and seasons. Remember, so it's there as a clock. Not you don't go to the clock and all this clock worship and God. Tree worship is of the deity Moloch, the sun god, birth right down the middle in the middle of the winter of the equinox, equal day, equal night. That's December 25th. It's actually 1223, but it's 1223. Remember, 323, 623, 923. This is their 23 equal day, equal night ritual. The equinox. They worship the calendar, and so do you. You know what I'm saying? That's right. When to hunt, when to move, all was told by that clock up there, and it told the past cycles, so they knew when to change their ways, because that changed. And then they had watches. Remember, they had the night watch. It's not like the watch that you're. Oh my gosh. This is why, brothers, sisters, like I said, I have nothing to do with this world anymore. I hate, and I do, and I will. I got to keep one foot in the system. If I had more people around me, maybe I could, flourish more than I already have of too much. I already have way too much. But as of right now, like I said, there's nothing in America that I want to do anything with this country. I hate being here. You know what I'm saying? Because there's nothing good left about this country. You could leave outside this country and have a beautiful life. Even though we're wrecking everything outside this country, there is still, it's like living, I grew up in the concrete jungle. There were good places and bad places throughout, all over LA and, whatever, all over the valley, and I'm not saying it was perfect, but it was, not everything is what you see on television. There's a lot better places to live than this country. It's not free. We have military on our streets. I never in my lifetime, I talked about it on Truth Viral Television almost 13 years ago about this happening and how this could come about. And here we are. Nobody seems to care. You know what I'm saying? Muslims will even admit that they're doing pagan worship, the Mecca. Yep, around the Cabra. Yeah, the Cabra, and they go kiss the wall and the rock and do all their. Exactly. Connection. You're a very wise man. Appreciate it for making the connection. So, again, I'm not trying to change any brothers and sisters at this point in America, because I think it's futile. The only thing you can do is try to bring people to the Word, and the Word will do it on its own, and they don't need to be concerned. You know what I'm saying? Leviticus says, I can buy slaves from the nations around me. Can I choose Canadians since they're so nice? Well, good thing we're not under the laws of the Old Testament of Leviticus. Remember, Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy, the laws of the Old Torah Testament. There, Jordan. Nice try. Now they're spiritual slaves, but remember, spiritual testament. So we got some Canadians in here. They're much hard workers than most Americans. They are. They live in an Arctic, more Arctic climate. So Arctic people tend to be a little bit more hardened. So there's a reason their eyes are a little lower, in a climate like that. Not everybody, but they used to Athabascans and people further away from the equator. Obviously, the higher, more sun, so they get up on the top there, same thing, right? So Antarctica, Arctic, Athabascans, natives, Inuits, all that. But once again, he didn't shape our eyes or put melanin in our skin so we can be different colors or races. It's because how close he put us to the equator. Remember? So if you're racist, you'll have to leave, because we don't have any races in here. So don't be racist. I have my body tells me that, yeah, we're all mutts. We're all just some big cesspool, the melting pot. So all of us are one race, brothers, sisters, the human race. We might have different ethnicity, cultures, and customs, but we're not colors and we're not racist. You with your racist, so don't go anywhere around me, because I won't have it. So So twice is an army. You're doing one too many times. Remember what's the difference between having one black eye and two black eyes, Dodge? What's the difference between having one black eye and two black eyes? Not three. There is no third eye. Blind, remember? So you're only supposed to, remember, give them fish and then give them a fishing pole and then get the flock out of dogs. Leave them alone. You can't turn a goat into a sheep. So what's the difference between having one black eye and two black eyes? I hate to make you do math in here. So I already told him once. So I knew you knew that. I'm saying, right? So no third black eye's coming, right? You better learn the first time. A third eye, blind. So they third eye, right? Yeah, so but good stuff. Appreciate your good comments, man. You got some, like I said, you're producing fruit in the chat, and that's what this ministry is about. We're not here trying to make an echo chamber, but we are not to sup with vipers, brothers and sisters. The word tells us that. You hang around people who do unclean things, it's going to rub off on you. You can't go to a trap house, a crack house, sit in a whorehouse with $10 in your pocket, and these ladies of the night come rubbing on your neck and whispering sweet nothings in your ear, and you're going to sit there with that $10 in your pocket, and you're going to be an upright man for how long? You're going to ask the question, and she's going to say, ask me. And you're going to say, anything? No. All right. So you can't keep company with vipers, brothers, sisters. You're supposed to hang around those that are in the narrow way, those that are willing to refine you by Father's will, not their own. They do it because Father makes that's your mother. It corrects you. So we only sup with those that are in the narrow way. So, yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. This is a world. This is a worldwide ministry, man, because Israel was the 12 tribes, all of the 12 tribes. 12 times 12 is 144,000. That's proof of this covenant that no, remember, all flesh would be spared under this covenant. If you had to do colors, which there are no colors, we're more melanated, white. Who's white? Black? Who's black? Who's brown? Who's red? Who's yellow? We have more melanin in our skin or less melanin. So maybe a little brown, you know what I'm saying? I started asking for waffles and chicken for $10. Okay, hey guys, let's break up here for a second. We'll just break because we've been going for what, hour and 46 minutes. I was making some breakfast this morning because I got to make all these eggs. I have way too many eggs. I got hundreds of eggs that I have to get rid of. I've been eating as many as I can and feeding them to the dogs and feeding them to, giving them away and whatnot. But this morning I made when I had somebody died and we had a wake, right? Because I mourned, right? The top of the day, I made a quesadilla and I used eggs to do it. But it reminded me when I was working at my brother's restaurant, I helped him design it, and he did a fusion food of Korean Mexican fusion that says KF on it, not KFC, it's confusion. So I've never seen a restaurant. I just thought that might be another restaurant. Me always just thinking about the strangest things. But because presentation, remember I was talking about that, was everything. And we used to do something at the restaurant, we used to do quesadillas, big, huge quesadillas. And they were a big quesadilla for the money. They were probably one of the best value. Everything he had at his restaurant was a huge portion for moderate price. He just made up for it with a lot of volume. Just sell everything out. You have to sell everything out of the restaurant, every day. So, which, was done just about every day. So, but I've never heard of a restaurant, and I know this sounds silly, and you could probably do other things. Obviously, if you had that tortilla, you could do a burrito or a wrap. But, dude, I've never seen a restaurant that's nothing but quesadillas. I think that would be a hit because it's kind of Mexican, but you could do so much fusion. You could put anything in that shell. I mean, you could change it up a million ways. And the way that we did it was, again, with presentation, is put a cheese, what is known as a cheese lace, like we used to put on our gyro, or a Korean Cairo was what it was called. A gyro Korean Cairo was a Cairo, not a gyro. You know what I'm saying? So just I don't know with that. I mean, there's so much you can put, what I'm saying, so much in that. I mean, it wouldn't necessarily even have to be cheese. You could but I'm saying you could really break and still kind of put some more, and change that up and still run that same kind of, you know what I'm saying? And just shove it all in. So most of what you do is the way that how we did a lot of things is you put, like, we use jack cheese as a great cheese to do like cheese laces with. It's just a good all around cheese on a grill. It works excellent. It's got good flavor to it, but jack cheese is a good cheese to use what is called a cheese skirt or a cheese lace. So what you do is you lay the cheese out on a hot grill and then you marry that to the tortilla. So you imagine if you had a nice big tortilla shell, then it's got this big, huge lace hanging off the end of your, wrap, and you got to pull off all little crispies and eat those. And then, it's got all that, because normally when people do a quesadilla, it just comes with the tortilla. You put that outer, and you could, if they wanted, you could lace the whole, that's what you do. You put it all out, and then you'd adhere that to the tortilla and then fold that up, you know what I'm saying? And then put a cheese lace on the outside of it. You put your toppings, cook your toppings, but you literally marry that to the, you know what I'm saying? The cheese gets married to the, first you'd marry that so the cheese would be kind of crispy. You could put more cheese on it too, but you take that and then you put your ingredients down and then you fold that and then make a cheese lace around the outside of it. So you got this big crispy cheese, lacy looking like a doily, all the way lacing around. We used to do it to the gyros too. We'd fold that up and it'd have that big cheese lace. So, I just think people would love it. You know what I'm saying? If you just did just nothing but quesadillas, you don't even have to do anything else. I mean, you could do a burrito, obviously. Okay, roll it up. They want a burrito. The same ingredients, pretty much, you know what I'm saying? But quesadillas, I've never seen anybody just market a quesadilla, straight quesadillas. Because you could make some big quesadillas, you know what I'm saying? They're pretty filling, and for the money, you could probably do pretty well, It's a hard business to be in food. Was an idea. I'm like, man, I think I'd go to a place called whatever, quesadillas or whatever, or something like that. I mean, if you can imagine, I already have a logo, so it'd be like the sun coming up, right? But that'd be the quesadilla, right? That half moon shape, with a quesadilla, right? Instead of the sun, it'd be a quesadilla rising or something. I don't know. We'd come up with some silly name for it, but you know what I mean? But would you go to some place like that just did quesadillas? If it, you could get a ton of different fusions. I'm sure you could put, you see that, the sun coming, the quesadilla coming up through the sun, real simple logo. That way you could do buttons. I'm a marketer. I don't mean to do that, but see, Dodge, that way you can put that on a pin, a button, you know what I'm saying? A circle. That logo is easy to put on that, and you can put your writing down below it, you know what I'm saying? For your business. And then that sun, because that's the logo is, you know what I mean? Is what people are used to seeing. They're used to seeing that circle logo. Visa, MasterCard, Taco Bell, they'll all have that. Not all of them, but that's a big logo that our eyes are used to seeing. Pizza style, exactly like a pizza quesadilla, off the chain, guys. A pizza quesadilla, with marinara, with freaking pepperoni marinara. I don't eat pork, but whatever. I'll serve it. You can eat whatever you want under this covenant. All things are made clean. But imagine marinating some on the inside. But you know how pepperoni, what's that? You guys pick the weirdest names. I know sometimes it's just the names come from a random name picker, but imagine if you had pepperoni married to the outside of that tortilla shell with the pizza, with the cheese marinated to it, because you'd put that down. You put your cheese, you'd probably put your pepperoni down first, let them get kind of crispy. I miss eating pepperoni. Pepperoni's about the only thing I actually ate at the end, but who likes their pepperoni kind of crispy? When you get that pepperoni, it's kind of crispy, how it's got that real salty, not burnt, but just kind of a, imagine if you had that on the outside, so it had a nice crisp on the outside of that. You could use a mozzarella too, but generally I would still probably use a jack cheese on the outside and then probably put a mozzarella on the inside. But that sounds off the chain, man. And you can do whatever you want, because you can put all those pizza ingredients in there, you know what I'm saying? Peppers, onions, mushrooms, or whatever, and stuff that thing and do a pizza tortilla, pizza quesadilla. That's off the chain, man. Good call there. USM. All right, USM. So, but that would be great. There's so many things, guys. Think about it. That's what I was thinking, because I never thought. I was like, oh my God, you could shove anything, because we could do a thing with the burrito, but quesadilla kind of makes it a little bit easier in a way. You know what I'm saying? Just gives you a little bit more options. Everything's not so smushed together. Not that that's not. I love burritos. I eat burritos for the rest of my life. But I was just sitting there. I made an egg. I made a breakfast quesadilla this morning. What I did is I laid down fresh eggs. You know what I'm saying? I put a little bit of oil in the pan. I laid down eggs, fresh eggs. I didn't scramble them. I put them down in the pan. I put 3 in a good size, in skillet size, in a pan. And then I cooked those eggs, and then I put cheese over the top of that. And then I smashed that tortilla down over the top of that. And it married to that. And then I folded it up on the inside, not the outside. I folded it so the egg was on the outside, the tortilla was on the inside. Then I took and put it over another tortilla. I put another tortilla in there, so I had a tortilla, egg with cheese, and then I put the tortilla shell on the outside and cooked it in that grease till it was real nice and crispy, and put a little bit of Lowry seasoning, just a little bit of, I don't know why Lowry's, could have put any other, but just that's what I had. I thought and just a little bit on that shell, which was nice and crispy. And almost, it was so crazy that inside tortilla, I wanted to see what it was going to do. Almost tasted like there was some kind of meat in there. It did. The texture, I was wondering how it would do in there, but I had a good tortilla. I had, the whatever. I think they might be dog pots. They're not good tortillas. It'd be better if you made your own. But that tortilla didn't get soggy, you know what I'm saying, and go away and be kind of a mush. It actually stayed together. And I cooked it for a while, and it kind of was sort of like, it didn't taste like it, guys, but almost became like the texture, like there was a slice of ham in there in between the egg. You know what I'm saying? The way it was like, it almost became like the texture of ham. And I thought it might do that when I cooked it, because it was, I've managed a 5-star restaurant, done a lot of cooking, but it was good, man. It was really good. I'm like, that would be a great breakfast, and the thing was thick, you know what I'm saying? All I used was 2 tortillas, 3 eggs, and some cheese, you know what I'm saying? And that thing was fat, you know what I'm saying? And it was excellent, you know what I'm saying? It had good flavor. Yeah, there you go. You could put whatever, sopas in there. You could do anything, guys. I mean, you could just do just about anything inside a damn tortilla shell. And you could do a lot of fusion too, you know what I'm saying? You could fuse things together, fusion food. That's why my brother's food was so off the chain, because he fused Korean and Mexican, right? Actually, I'd like, imagine doing a Hawaiian, so like Kahlua pork or like volcano chicken. I do that. That's with the sweet Thai chili sauce, right? With Mexican. That's the one I want to do. A fusion of Mexican, Hawaiian, Mexican grill, barbecue. Tell me those two wouldn't just go together. Some of those dishes would just crush, You could do like a bento type of Spam tortilla, just all kinds of things, I wouldn't want to overdo it too. When I do restaurants, I try to be pretty simple, Simplicity is the best thing, because profit and loss is so hard to determine one day. If you're going to be swamped when you don't bring enough, and then you anticipate you're going to bring a lot, nobody comes. You're like, man, we just lost all that profit, gone, because I have to throw all this away, so it's a tough business to be in. But would you go to a place that served quesadillas? If that was a place, let's just say it was called Quesadillas, why not? To hell with it. Why try to, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Sometimes one word marketing is everything. It truly is a great way to market your business. Don't simplify it. And it's less words in print, there's a lot of reasons why one word is a great way to market something. So, but quesadillas, would you go to a restaurant called Quesadillas if they did fusion quesadillas for you? You could get your regular quesadilla, you get your kids' quesadilla, you get your, Hispanic style, Mexican, that type of, but would you go to a place that did just basically just fusion quesadillas? I think I would. I think I'd go there and try and see at least once and see how good it was, And where I think you could do pretty well, brothers and sisters, is something like that. I think you could serve pretty large portions. I think you could do pretty good sized portions and still get away with it, and not do overly sized portions either. You'd have to serve something large, I mean, what would you pay right now? What do you think you'd pay for a big ass quesadilla? It's the big ones. It's a big full size Don Poncho, the big oversized. That's got a beans. There we go. Good stuff. Outstanding. Anything, the sky's the limit. You know what I'm saying? Whatever they want. You could obviously do custom. Do a full custom, whatever they want. Just charge them by ingredient too, almost like a pizza, right? You know what I'm saying, Dodge? You could just charge them by the ingredient. You have a base set price for the quesadilla with 3 toppings. Anything over that plus, anything over 5 toppings, I bring their price down. Anytime that they hit a level, that thing is fatty if they wanted it. It does. Seriously, those 2 tortillas, 3 eggs, the 2 tortillas, and just cheese. I didn't even put much cheese on it. I didn't even have regular cheese. I had some of my stupid other cheese. It was like that thick. I didn't even have any meat on it. No potatoes, you know what I'm saying? No salsa, no nothing. It was just eggs, cheese, and 2 tortillas. I have this. Cool. So what do you think of a big tortilla like that, guys? You know what I'm talking about. The tortilla is like that big. So when it goes on the plate, it's it'd be hanging off the ends. You'd probably put it in a basket, it'd be coming out of the basket or whatever. You'd slice it like a, party slice it like a pizza if they wanted it thin, or a bigger, regular slices, or even do like a Sicilian and slice it in half if they just wanted it in 2 halves. That's how I ate mine. I ate mine in 2 halves. I didn't slice it, into 4 or 6 or or 8. I sliced it in 2. But what would you pay for something like that in this modern day we live in? Obviously, if it didn't have meat in it, it would probably not have the cost of meat's going to bring a higher cost. But see, even under $10 right now in this market would probably kill it, you guys. You know what I'm saying? And I wonder if you did it enough, you could probably make $3 or $4. Oh yeah, but I wouldn't even compare it to anything like that. That wouldn't be. It would be, and that's fine. Or not, but yeah, I was thinking about $9. You know what I'm saying? Something like that. And then probably up to like 12 or 15 if that thing was loaded with, meat and some extras and things like that. And there's always toppings that you could put on it, obviously, chutney, salsa, and avocados and things like that, to obviously try to upcharge people. They'll do it to themselves. That's probably the best thing you could do right now, Dodge. As much as I would hate to say this, man, is to have a kiosk. You know what I'm saying? Is to have a kiosk. I went there one time when they had it. I just did it because I had to do it, man. And I upsold myself on things. I'm like, oh, well, cook, I could put that on there, and I could put that on there. I could put that on my regular burrito. Hell yeah. I'm like, dude, that burrito ended up being, that bean burrito, that $2 burrito ended up being like $7. You know what I mean? Saying, because I added some other, and I didn't even really add that much. So that kiosk thing sometimes makes people, it's one thing to upsell people. I know how to upsell people. That's not, it's like, whatever. But that kiosk makes you sell yourself. Am I wrong? When you go to the Taco Bell little thing and you can just order it and there's all that selection, you're like, all right, whatever. Oh, well, whatever. That sounds good, doesn't it? Like, whatever, a couple bucks more, whatever. Dude, I am a freaking Jew, man. I got Firestone tires, like Steen, not Stone, Firestone tires, They stop on a dime. I got Firestone tires. They don't only stop on a dime, but they pick it up. They're Firestone tires. Get it? Stein or Steen, not Stone. All right, moving on. So I just, you push the buttons. You're like, hell yeah, dude. Guacamole on my burrito? Yeah, dude. Look at that burrito. Oh yeah, whatever. Dude, I never seen that. What is that? Oh, I'll put some of those little crunchy chip things on there too. Right? People would upsell themselves. You literally could put all your ingredients, you know what I'm saying? And they'd probably end up, seriously, Dodge, you could make, you know what I'm saying, if you did it and had like a $9 and a $12 and maybe a $15, like you got a cheese pizza and a specialty pizza, or like a pepperoni pizza or something with a couple toppings, a Hawaiian, but then you got your loaded, combo, those prices, but then just let them go hog wild on the ingredients. I bet you get like $25 quesadillas if you had the kiosk. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? I bet you it would. I think people would. They would, just because they just, So what's going on, Daniel? I think they would. I think you'd walk out to people like, $25. Look at this thing, guys. Holy crap. You come out there like, oh, man, you want a wheelbarrow for that thing, You'd probably have to have a special basket for people who go a little bit, overboard on their ingredients, Probably have to tell them, hey, you get too many on there like a pizza, we might not be able to get that thing cooked all the way. So, but I think it'd be a good business, though, somebody to do. And I think people would stop and eat there because, they could get a good portion size for, something they could probably eat now and later. There is a possibility that it would be 2 meals for $9. In this day and age, that's a good price. If you could get, a couple toppings or something like that for $9, and anything up from there, like I said, maybe 10 or, 10 to 12, and then whatever. Open and put that kiosk in there and watch those people order $30 freaking tortilla, quesadillas or whatever. So what time we got? She stole it. Dang, I want to buy that tailgate off of her. Oh, well. All right, guys. Well, again, we could sit here and have a conversation about things like that, but, better we probably pull this front and center here. Are you growing any of your own food? You should be making your own food. It's cool to eat out every once in a while. I don't eat out very often, but, man, the food that they're offering us right now, guys, is just absolute garbage. And I don't see why, again, people pay it's not cheap to eat out at all anymore. There's no more dollar menu, which cheap food is garbage. I'd encourage you to go look outside of this country. I looked at a blogger who travels. He's a traveler, and he went to Vietnam, and he set a limit of $1. $1. He was going to go all day on $1. You know what I'm saying? And he did, and it was amazing how what he ate, all the food that he ate was cheap, was all fresh. There was nothing processed. It's so crazy that cheap food in other countries doesn't mean it has to be garbage. In America, the food is garbage. Canada, North America, same thing. Europe's got better food than us, but they still have some issues with theirs, you know what I'm saying? So this is crazy. There are so many other places, that we could be putting our time and effort, but we just go with the convenience because they've got us on a 2-income household now where nobody really even has time to prepare a meal. They're coming home from working all day and don't want to slave over when they should be working at their property and work, doing all the things that they need to do. And then that's just part of the daily chores is to cook dinner, you just make that now. People don't even have time to make a dinner. They hardly know their neighbors, and it's very not common anymore for the modern day home in America to have a front porch. Might have a back porch, but not a front porch anymore. People used to hang out on the front porch and sit out there and, have some time watching the sunset with the kids and, the people walking by and, just where to go. So this ministry really tries to, hammer in that we need to go back to the ways of old, I don't know if Father will ever send me somebody to help me out. So doesn't mean you can't do it though. Some of us, there's others like myself out there that we're doing it, we're trying to do it and trying to be a light for others to show people that you can do it. I don't have income. I don't get Social Security. I'm filing for it again, but I don't get veterans benefits. I don't make, only thing I make is by going out and fixing and selling and trading and working for what I have. No guaranteed income coming in, But then again, I don't do a calendar. I don't do what the whole world is doing. I live completely off the grid. I live 100 miles away from the ocean. I'm off grid. I produce there are so many things that make me completely different than the norm. There's others doing what I do, but not as a norm. And this is what most of us should be doing. If we all grew food, they couldn't offer us this genetically modified fake plastic freaking food at the store that's been sprayed with bugs, and like Stoner said yesterday, no wormholes, no dents, no nothing. It looks like perfect, not a scratch, a dent, a ding, nothing in it. It looks like it's it should be in a museum or something, or it's a steel painting. some still life sitting there on your table, all waxy, this is not food anymore. And this is something we could be doing. We could be growing our food. If people would just take the jump and do it, try. But nobody will even put some potatoes in a bucket, and buy a hay bale, try the hay bale garden, try to do some garden. My mom used to grow in like a mason jar. She'd grow sprouts, um, she'd always take those avocado seeds and put toothpicks in them and then grow an avocado plant. Well, she was always growing something in the windowsill during the, the spring and the summer and the fall. Not so much in the winter, but but there was things we had because those were things were grown during the summertime. So, and in the fall harvested, and had things during the winter months, and so canning and things like that. I always grew up where it would be strange not to have a pantry full of food. My mom had a pantry that she kept that thing so full you couldn't even hardly walk into the pantry sometimes. There was no floor in it. Everything was covered to the frickin' top and bottom, and there was just so much food. It was bust. Sometimes you couldn't even open the door, because it would come out. You had to restack it. People were like, oh, I ain't going in there because I have to restack everything, They come piling out the door. So, it's just preserving you is all it's doing anymore. It's almost like eating prison food, full of SG's connection. It ain't really much different than prison food. It's just loaded full of crap, just enough to keep you subsistence, just enough to keep you alive. Borderline scurvy. If you don't get no commissary and you ain't eating no crap or something, you're not going to fend well. So, I'm stumped though. I don't know what to do, personally, other than now I feel like I should just stay with the ministry and do what I'm doing here. But I don't know. I put up a couple more ads. I got some people, like I said, to respond to my message because I re-put it up. But I don't know, man. I just feel like Father doesn't want me to have anybody around helping me, no matter I've been trying for so long to do this, and nobody's, but it doesn't mean that you can't do it though, so I don't want to be any reason why you don't try, because I am doing it. I just don't have anybody to do it with me. So that's the hard part. Is it's a little lonely having all the abundance and nobody to share it with. So it's like I go get more eggs today. I can only eat so many eggs. It'd be really nice to have a couple people here to say, hey, you need to take at least a couple dozen of these eggs, and eat these at least. You have to eat at least a dozen or two a week to be here. You don't have to, but would you please take these eggs? We could do that with a lot of other things too. You know what I'm saying? Could create so much abundance, but I don't think Father wants that for me. I just don't. So I'm going to grow for me. I'm going to grow for the chickens. I'm going to grow for the ministry, and that I can do. But I'm kind of, like I said, and it's just too far gone right now. We're at war. This is when people should be banging down my door to come here. So, and nobody's coming. So I've tried. So I'm not giving up. I'm just not going to try. You know what I'm saying? I put myself out there over and 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 over again, and then it's crushing. I literally broke my back because I didn't have anybody to help me. I experienced this pain every single day, and it's not that I didn't try for years to get somebody to come out here. Years, many people invited. So I think I'm just going to keep trying to get the property on the grid, get the ministry, and bounce from here. I think I'm going to try to make a plan to leave the U.S. as soon as I can, possibly leave the U.S. Again, here we go. But this is going to have to be a longer, I have some limitations right now, so I have to be very wise about it all the time that I have here. Don't waste my time that I have here. That's why I feel like coming in here is not a waste of time at all. I don't feel like any of my time is wasted here, because at least I'm producing something, for others. And that's just the way my nature is I just don't like sitting and serving myself all day. 90+% of what I do is for the ministry. It's for others. I don't really have a life. I share the gospel. It's what I'm known for doing. It's been so long that I've done it now for, that this is what people know me as, and I didn't ask for that. That's what Father made me. But I'll continue with the ministry, and I'll get the ministry set up, because the ministry doesn't have to be a physical thing. But now things have changed. Now that we're at war, I just feel like nobody's gonna ever come. I don't want to invite anybody here. If they have to be forced to come here, that's not how I like to have a relationship with somebody. I like it to be a mutual thing. Normally I don't have any issues in my sex life because it's a mutual thing. She's not asking more than I'm asking. I'm not more than she's asking. It's just a mutual thing. It just happens naturally. It's organic, and it doesn't, and it ain't about sex. I'm just saying that's like one thing. It's normally, you find people in a relationship, oh, I'm always asking, or why do I have to be the one to initiate? Or there's always these issues. Shouldn't have to try like that. I'm saying the effort. So I have, though, said I for a long time now. So I just have to be patient now. I think I'm going to need to just back off and just do the ministry for now and just focus on what I have. I have a beautiful dog and a beautiful cat and some livestock and a beautiful piece of land to be quiet. I don't have to deal with people that are stupid, and I can still serve the ministry. So, but I encourage you, though, to go out and get your skills set up, so get a community together. There's a lot of people. I put so many different avenues for you to link up with those that are, people who are going into the local woods and agrarian and light homesteaders that have homesteads that you could be joining. They don't want you to come to your property. If you don't want to, you can just go there and glean from them. You probably bring home fresh fruits and vegetables and things, from a farm, and they need hands. They need, like me, if I just had one labor out here, would be such a game changer for me. But I don't want one bad person out here, so at least I don't have to worry about that at this point. So keep going, though. I'll keep going. I'm not seeing that I'm stopping. I'm just kind of thinking that here I just did this again, all the way up into the summer months, kind of sort of put the invite out there, and nobody actually took me up on it. So if it happens now, the weather's conducive, somebody could actually come out here now, but I don't, like I said, I'm just getting to where it's just getting tiresome trying to get people to come out here and join me and do what I'm doing. So maybe again, that's not what Father wants for me. And I'm starting to see that a little bit more clear here again, that I just need to focus on the ministry. The ministry will always be here, and I could come back here at any time. Remember, I didn't want to stay here. I wanted to go down south because the food growing down there is so much more conducive than where I'm at. I can't grow, papaya and pineapple and avocados and things where I live. It's just not conducive. The weather's not. Doesn't mean I can't produce a grip load of food here. I just can't produce some of those things that I could produce so much food here, it would be ridiculous, but the thing is, it's just much more conducive. I must put any seed in the ground down somewhere in South America, and it's going to grow. I just lost my cannabis plants last night or yesterday, because I had to go get my cat fixed. I only put them outside for an hour before it got above freezing, and it nuked them, so that's a lot of work for nothing, and they may come back, but, that wouldn't have happened down south. So I'm in Silver Lake, Oregon. So I've tried, and like I said, I'm not going to just, throw it to the give up completely, but I don't know, man. I'm just getting tired of it and trying to, like I said, I even had people contact me, and then, they just fall off, and it's okay. I don't want anybody to come out here that's not, in the past, I've had 50, 60 people wanting to come here, but nobody came with the gospel at all. They got to have a little bit of gospel in them. So this is a ministry. I'm not asking anybody to be religious. I don't like religion, remember, not at all. So Yeah, see, I just need to get out of this area. It's not that I can't grow food out here. I can grow plenty of livestock here. I can grow lots of vegetables here. It's the fruits and stuff that I would struggle to grow here, more than anything. It's not that it can't, grow some fruits here too, but I can't grow, and there's not even available here in North America. That's what's available in South America. So, um, shit, the idea of going to Vietnam for $1 a day and living on $1 a day sounds better than living in this hellhole America to me. So, I can't go anywhere, brothers sisters. I can't leave the state right now because I'm on probation because my son, because what they did to my son. So, if I could leave, I would be gone. I don't want it. There's nothing left in America for me. I don't have anything. I don't think my son is alive. And if I did, it wouldn't matter. I'd still go anyways. I'm not going to stay here for him. I did that last time and look what the hell where it got me. So um, when I can go legally, I'm going to consider, like I said again, um, because I think I can get the ministry up in time. I'm saying whether anybody comes out and helps me or not, it's going to be a grueling, daunting task, but it is something that I think I can do, button up, and maybe by the end of summer, I'll win my appeal on my case because I'm filing an appeal on my hearing where they didn't bring any evidence into court for me or just let me get railroaded, and that's fine. I'm not, Father doesn't make mistakes, but if that happens, actually, I'm trying to start to figure out how to put together some more funds after I get the ministry up because, um, once the ministry's up and going, I can come back in a year or two or three or whenever, and this place is not going anywhere. So um, I'm dead set on having some experience. I think I'm just totally burnt on the physical. I'm just totally burnt. There's nothing physical here in this realm that seems to. I just don't get it. I just don't want the physical. I'd rather just have experience. And if I can't experience anything because nobody wants to come here, I can travel to another country, and I'm sure that people in another country would appreciate my mindset, my mentality, my work ethic, who I am as a man, my morals, my values, and I think I'd be much more appreciated outside the U.S. So whenever that day comes, that could be years from now. I'm gonna jump on that as soon as I can. Probably won't be able to. This war will probably compress, and they'll lock the borders down. I won't be able to leave here. So I got to make it to plan to stay here too. So that's what I'm doing as well. Just don't think I can have anybody join me. So I got to make a plan to walk away from it too. Okay, that's the one thing is if I don't have anybody here to help me, I'm just going to be run out of here by anybody. So I'm not going to try to protect anything here if I don't. There's nothing here I want. I have to have nothing. I don't care about it. It's all dirt. It all came from the dirt. It's all going to back to the dirt. So um, we'll see. Maybe this back surgery, I can get this back surgery done. It'll make me feel better. I won't have to live in this excruciating pain on a daily. Um, and I can, you know, kind of get a little bit of a life back. I've had fathers just strip me down to nothing. No, no, my son and daughter murdered or missing. I don't have anybody I don't have any friends to help me. I don't have a family member to come lend me a hand. So I'll continue doing what I do. You know what I'm saying? And I think I can accomplish getting the ministry done. After that, I don't know where I'm going, brothers, sisters, after this. Because if there's nobody here to join me, I can take the ministry on the road still, right? It doesn't. If the ministry is not a physical thing, then it's not. It's not a big deal. Nothing changes for you. Don't worry about it. It'll all be the same ministry. I actually told you I think it'd be better if I went on the road. So, but that's okay. I'm going to come through on this commitment. I already entered into a contract, so it doesn't matter. I've got to come up with probably another $6,000 or $7,000, $8,000, probably 10 to finish this period. So I have to get that done. And once that's done, this will be here and done and great. Then I can move on. I'll feel a sense of accomplishment. And especially if it's something that nobody helped me do, and I did it by myself, I'm fine with that. And so everybody come reap all the benefits of the labor that was, done out here through a decade and enjoy it, and don't just let it sit here and go to waste. I know I want to come back here. I want to be able to travel. I want to be able to have this as a second home, so to speak. And not even this property, but the property up the road from here. So um, this is properties, the ministries. I just spent 10 years trying to give everything to this ministry through Father's will, not my own. So, but like I said, I'm getting a little burnt, man. I don't know why Father won't let me have anybody. You know, I could really use a hand right now, and my health is starting to get bad because of this back issue, and I'm trying to push through it, but it's just how I'm having issues. I can't seem to get the things done that I need to get done. So um, I got to center my focus here a little bit more, and I'll get it done. So I will. I'm not going to meet my goals. My goals are reachable and obtainable. I've set obtainable goals at this point, so I don't try to set goals that I can't reach. Because then if you fail, you don't want to try anymore. So I'm not doing that. Like I said, I think that's what I'm saying. I'm setting this a couple years out or something to try to get out of here in a couple years. And time will go by quickly. It's hard to believe it's almost been 6 years since the COVID deal. So time will go by. I don't need to do anything in a rush. I'm not in a hurry to do anything at this point, really. I mean, if I could go, I would go, and I wouldn't do it in a rush anyway. So um, I don't really have anything to help me along as to right now. So I need to get that taken care of before that day comes. If it's possible that I can get out on the road and travel, and I'm going to do that. I told you that already. That's not new news for anybody who's been part of this ministry, but I have to wait till I can legally do it. So I have a passport, but I can't use that until I can, get myself off probation. So um, uh, either way, brothers, sisters, Father knows what he's doing, and he has me in this position. There's a reason why he had the state police shoot my son, kidnap my daughter, hit me in the face with a grenade, tear gas my animals, wreck my life, and take everything from me, because he doesn't make mistakes. He has some sort of measure that will be poured out at a later time and date. I just need to be girded in his service. So I'm not going to try to change what he already has written. But like I said, it's getting hard out here. I wish I had somebody to help me, another brother and sister that were in the narrow way. But I don't think that's going to happen. Like I said, I asked and asked and asked and put it out here on this ministry, and put out ads on, Facebook and homesteader sites and all this, and just have not, Father has not produced the right person. So somebody will come if Father wants it, you know what I'm saying, when he's ready. So his timing is perfect. My timing is off, so I don't want to try to make any plans, because he'll wreck them. That's what he does to me. So I'll just set goals, obtainable goals. I'll plan to meet or beat, or if I don't achieve it, then I'll at least try, and that's all I can do. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Like I said, I'm not okay with the state of this world right now. I don't see how we're not all coming together as a country. I can't stand that we're known for being ruled by a bunch of pedos and nobody cares in this country. So I don't feel anything. I don't relate to anybody in America. I don't have anything other than the word in common with anybody in America. So I hate this country. I hate what it's become. The people in it are an abomination to the word. They don't care that there's a ruling class of pedos that the whole world is watching and knows, but they just stand by and don't say anything. So it's depressing. It bothers my PTSD. It irritates me. It makes me not violent. I back down. I'm one of these people that I clam up. I don't get violent. I just go away. I don't want that. I don't want to be around that. So this country is disgusting, and it's just getting worse daily. That crap they just pulled at the White House dinner was a bunch of more scams of the, you know, um, it's just disgusting. I cannot even think for 1 second how we don't come together and unite and stop doing this food from the store, which is complete poison. We poison ourselves. We pay to literally poison ourselves. You know what I'm saying? And we don't unite. So there is no United States. There is no two states that are united. I've seen nobody come against this pedo files and come together and say, hey, we demand answers. We don't care if you're going to know you're going to do this or you're going to be put on trial. You're going to release. There's not, oh, well, if you don't produce, you're going to go in shiny bracelets. We don't care who you are. That doesn't have anything to do with anything. You're going to answer for these children. So I don't want to be a part of a nation that bombs children in other countries. I fucking hate being here. Damn it, I cussed. Oh, well, I just hate being here. I just hate being in this country now. We've been doing this for a long time, okay? This is not new news, but I can't stand the fact that we bomb school children with federal tax dollars and the people don't even care. They just don't care. So instead, they're going to put in a bail room, right? Children starve in this country. People die, of hunger and improper health care. We have horrible health care in this country. And they send money to blow up, children in other countries. This is filthy. I hate being alive right now. I hate being in this country more than anything. And I don't know how people go and just sit here every day and act like any of this is okay. There's nothing okay with America right now. I hate this country, and everybody in it is an abomination that is not standing up. I'm not calling for violence. I'm asking you to redress grievances. Use your mouth, your voice, not a weapon. That is your weapon, is your mouth. Use it. It's called the First Amendment. Redress grievances. So, right to protest. So, Congress shall establish no law prohibiting the exercise of free speech, of the press, the right to peacefully assemble, the right to address grievances, right? Well regulated. Freedom of press, freedom of speech, freedom of religion. Remember, these are all your rights, but you don't use them, and that's why we are where we're at. So that's the right that I used, and ended up, coming with the SWAT team and throwing us all in jail. Never see my son ever again after that day. Sickening. And I'm a veteran that served the right of these people. You think they would afford me some, vote with your dollar. There you go. Outstanding, bro. So, that's a great way to vote, brothers, sisters. Vote yourself out of the system. Become your own power company. Get yourself a wind turbine. Donald Trump hates wind turbines. So become your own boss. Become your own system. Become your own supply chain. So I hope you have a community of people to do it with, though. It's always easier when you have somebody holding the other end of a board or something. Two heads are better than one if they're firing on the same cylinder. So, but like I said, I'm not. This current administration comes out and just puts in everybody's face that we're at war. Vietnam was this long, Afghanistan was this long, all these names, all these wars, and then says, well, but we've only been there for 45 days. So he's telling everybody we're at war, but nobody in America cares that we're at war. So what the hell do you do when you're at war and you don't have anybody to help you? And all you want to do is try to, endure, Cool. Appreciate it, Dodge. Thanks for coming in. Appreciate all your outstanding comments. That's what makes the ministry. I'm just griping today, but this ministry is the content. I learned a majority of what I know from other people, studying what other people had studied. And so I appreciate when people come in here and produce fruit for the ministry, because I don't make the ministry. The ministry is the comment section. Obviously, I bounce off comments in the comments section, but we're all supposed to be doing that. So nothing here makes me anyway special to anybody in this ministry. I'm just somebody who loves the word. I have to share it. Remember, I can't hide the light. So he is the word. He is the light. He is the life. He's the separator of the dark, the night, the day from the night. But I have lots to do. So it's not like I'm not depressed because I don't have things to do and I don't have goals set. I can't meet my goals. It's just this life is getting a little bit lonesome here, and You know, we're in a really trying time where it seems like people should be uniting and coming together, and they're not. So, not in this country. I just, again, feel like if I was out of America, I wouldn't live like this at all. I feel like I would be appreciated, and I don't deserve anything. I just know that the ethic, the labor that I have, the just because of how I live, would be much more accepting. It doesn't mean anything to anybody here, or I can't find anybody to come join me and enjoy the abundance that I have. I have more than I need. Like I said, I have too much. My problem is that I don't have not enough. I have more than I need, and I can't share it, and it's a nightmare. So it's like I want to walk away from all of it. I do. I'm just want to get this ministry done now and walk away from it because it's not going to go anywhere. So it's just a matter of money now, and I can figure that out one way or another. So I will. But I figured it out this far, right? Did anybody help? Well, we got a couple of. I looked. Um, 5 months, guys. Uh, it took for this channel to make $100. So I'm not here making money, and they're going to take 30%. So I'm probably going to get about $65 or something, 30+% of that 100. So this channel's not a revenue source for me in any way. I'm out here getting wealthy or rich or anything, and I don't want to make money off the channel. Remember, people want to tie to the ministry. That's one thing, but I'm not doing this for a gain. I'm doing this because I have to. I'm doing it because I lack fellowship, and I don't have friends or family, and I wouldn't talk to anybody for many months at a time if I didn't come in here. I could isolate myself, and like I said, I've tried in this town to get people to join me in the Word, but nobody wants it. I used to rent out the community center and used to go read Revelation at the park, and nobody ever came to join me. So some things we just have to do alone, and that's all right. I'm facing that, but I know that after this, ministries put together, I don't have to be alone anymore. I'm even considering if I can't leave this state, just traveling around again, trying to maybe look again once I get the ministry done, trying to fix out the Forerunner a little bit and see if I can go overland a little bit and get some time in like that. I think I need a break right now, but I can't take it. I don't have time to take a break. I don't think I could take a break for probably 6 months, and then I might be able to. It's probably going to take me 6 months to finish this. I'm owner building this house, power, water, or well, not I already have the water, but tanks set up for storage. But installing power, putting in septic, installing the house. That's for an owner builder. It's if I had tools for the job, have had a little extra funding, it would be just like most people. They have, you know, a lot more ability than me. I have to do everything kind of by the skin of my teeth. So it's not always easy to get the things done that I need done. Sometimes I have to rob Peter to pay Paul. That takes from something future tense, and I'm kind of rolling the dice whether they'll have it later, but I need it now, and it always seems to be like that. So it's like playing that game where you got that one thing, you got to slide it over to get the, just everything is always, you know, it's a process, but it's all right. We're getting there. Like I said, I'm right on schedule with the county here. As soon as I can determine where the power is going, then I can actually set the house. I'm working on getting all the paperwork. I've dealt with the state of Oregon. The other day I was on the phone with two different offices from the state of Oregon filing a certificate of ownership, and had to get notarization, and just a lot of legwork, a lot of paperwork too involved, and obviously when building permitting and things like that. So not just the labor end of it, but I got to get the test holes dug. When I spoke with the planning commission, they want the septic is the first thing they want me to install, but I have to figure out where the house is going to go first. So they'll do both. If I had the money, they would. They don't care about the electric. They just want the septic in. So the test holes are massive, and I it's probably going to take me a couple weeks to dig those test holes, and I probably have to dig every day. And I'm not supposed to be doing anything right now. I have a compression fracture in my vertebrae. I'm supposed to be going for back surgery, not digging and making my situation worse. But I don't have anybody to help me, so I have to do it. I don't own a tractor. I know somebody who did. They said they'd help me, and then they backed out. So I don't know. I think it's because I didn't help them, but I tried. and that's fine. I don't not to disclose who it was or anything, but that's a thing of the past now. So now I have to do this with a busted back. So um, it will get done. It's just probably going to take more time than I originally anticipated to. So I'll get it done. I am looking forward Monday. I'm hoping tomorrow that the county will call me and let me know about the taxes because I called about that. I'm going to call back if they don't. And then I have to deal with the power company because I'm dealing with the new construction. And they are going to try to send somebody out in the next, I think this week, they'll send somebody out. So once I can make a determination on where the power is going to go, then I can move forward with everything I'm doing out here. So I'm kind of taking a little bit of it, taking it easy before that day comes. Because like I said, I don't want to get set and be doing a bunch of things and then have to make changes later. You know what I'm saying? Um, yeah, there you go. So one day at a time, we'll get the ministry done here. And then, yeah, and I think I'm going to go take a vacation after this. I'm going to start trying to plan some kind of time off after the ministry's done. I think it's time. I've been told, my son told me to take a vacation a long time ago. He told me that I've been working out here since my brother came and took everything and stole everything from me, my younger brother, and stole everything from well, a lot from my son too. And he's like, Dad, you've been working for like 6 years and you haven't taken one vacation. You come over here and you don't ever stay for more than a couple of days. So you need to take a break. And I haven't done that. And that was probably a few years ago. So I think we're going on 7 years or something like that, almost, of without taking any real vacation or break, taking any time off. So I need that. I need a recharge, man. I think the best thing to do is hopefully, if I can, get out of the country, if possible, legally. Yeah. We'll see what Father has in store for me. He might not let me go anywhere. As of right now, I can't go anywhere. So got to kind of stay where I'm at. So it's okay, Father, to make mistakes. I really like to be traveling right now, though. I don't care about what's going on around the world. I'd rather be experiencing living on $1 a day or $5 a day than to sit and live in this nightmare that I'm in. But I have to live in the nightmare until it's over, right? So I might, one day my head will pop up and like, wow, that was felt like a dream there. Glad I'm past that. And, once again, I'm just a little bit perturbed that here it is the best time of year and there's nobody here to join me. I could be doing so much right now with them too, helping somebody else, giving somebody a massive opportunity. But no opportunity is going to fall in my lap. I make my opportunities. So that's just the way it is for me. Uh, Opportunities are made. They don't just happen. So not in my case, they don't. So I have to make and present that opportunity, make it present. So, all right, guys, think I'm going to wrap this up. Like I said, I don't want to sit here and beat a dead horse, but I'm a little bit perturbed right now with this whole events at the White House. It's just a joke, man. I hate this country so much. They can just pull these scams on everybody, and nobody in this country seems to care. Everything that man says is a lie. There's nothing that comes out of his mouth that's any bit of truth. Very little, if any. And everybody in the nation that I live in, the corporation, they just go along with it. They just don't care. So I feel isolated, man. I feel like I don't have anything in common with anybody in the U.S. I don't. I don't have anything to say to anybody in the U.S. So, not personally. Like I said, I don't have anything personally against them, but I don't have anything in common with anybody here. And I regret my serving this country as a veteran. I hate the fact that I served as a veteran. You know, no unity. You know what I'm saying? No unity in this country at all. Nobody's uniting. Nobody's coming together, even in small communities. To hell with the states. You know, there are some small groups, brothers, sisters, but they're not going to do well. I guess I'm accepting what's about to happen. Things are progressing and getting a lot worse. I told you that you will not make it on your own. None of us are Rambo. Even if you have a good skill set, the long-term survival is only possible through community. You can survive short periods of time, but you will not make it without having some more bodies around. Just for example, having someone to watch your back at night so you can sleep. There's one other person makes a big difference. So a battle buddy, if you will. I ain't got no battle buddy, so just a little bit depressing, brothers, sisters. My back hurts, and I'm not, I'm a little bit fearful that I might not walk after this surgery. I won't have anybody to take care of me, and it's just going to get a lot worse. So I need to think about these things for myself and how I'm going to deal with them. So this is why I'm taking the actions that I'm taking today and what I've been doing for the last, you know, year, 2 years, 3 years, 6 months, 6 years, 10 years is preparing for these exact days. And I swear back then I would have at least 4 or 5 people around me wanting to do the same thing. And I can't find one person, man. This is depressing, very depressing. So, but there won't be anybody in America. I don't know anybody in America, like I said, that I can reach out to at this point, or at least Father hasn't presented that opportunity. I've tried, remember, opportunities are made. So I put myself out there over and over and over and over like a damn prostitute in my damn body out there, but not literally, but like a spiritual prostitute or something, man. Trying to sell myself on people. It's just getting super frustrating. So I don't know. Like I said, I put the ads up again and I got hits, but nobody's serious, man. Everybody's just window shopping. Nobody really wants to jump. You know what I'm saying? So everybody's got the idea they want a homestead and they want it until it actually comes down to everybody wants your job until they figure out how tough it is to, as far as homesteading or something, farmer until they figure out how hard it is. Like, well, that's not what I thought, but I love it. I love it. I love having the ability to have responsibility, and you can't stop whether you want to or not because you grow roots. You're going to sit there and get. That's not what you do. You got to stay in motion. So once in motion, stays in motion. So don't let yourself lock up, and that's kind of like I said. So that's what I guess it's itching to me that I'm kind of getting this cabin fever, being here all by myself and nobody to join me, and then thinking that there'll be nobody to join me in the future. It's like, man, I should just get away from here. If nobody's going to be here, then just go try to find anywhere. I mean, just anywhere but here, you know. I'm not saying like go get myself thrown in jail where there's people or anything of that sort, but just find somewhere where there's somebody who's just have a conversation in person. And I don't know why I'm craving the physical because it's not. I don't care about the physical, but it's like another human being. I love you, brothers and sisters in here, but every once in a while we need some substance, a little bit of physical contact, a little bit of, and it's not that I don't appreciate all the time that we spend here. I don't want to belittle anybody in here. I know that, this is beautiful because this is how it's going to work in the end. We're not going to have the flesh. So, but it's just the experience. It's social, you know what I'm saying? Have some socialization with other, stimulating adult conversation with somebody else, somebody to look in the eyes and talk to them, and make eye contact, that kind of thing. But not as of yet, not as of now. And again, I don't think this could happen anytime soon. It just doesn't look that way. I didn't get the right people. Um, so I appreciate it, brothers, sisters. I got to go. I'm not feeling good right now, and I need to take a break and sit and sup with Father. Maybe he'll show me something I haven't seen here. But I'm truly fed up with the world. I don't like this country. I don't like what we're doing, and I don't want any part of it. Um, I hate being here, and I know that if Father didn't want it, he wouldn't have me here. So I'm thankful for that. I would have already been long gone if I had the ability to do so. I should have definitely taken that opportunity when my son told me to, and I didn't. So Could end up costing him his life. I cannot believe in my days I have to wake up every day and that precious metals that he told me to sell could be the metals that got him killed. God, I hate being alive so much, man. And nobody cares about my son or my daughter. It's just unfathomable, man. What a nightmare. All right, you don't need to live my nightmare. Appreciate it, brothers, sisters. You want to support the ministry, come back when you have more time. Links in the description if you want to do a monetary tithe. Money is not something that I'm concerned about this time. It's just time, so come back when you have more time. All right, Pastor Revelation, Pastor Apocalypse.